this to bed here. It's going to be a real boxing match. It's not some wrestling. It's not some joke of it may be an exhibition, but it's a real boxing match, correct?
Correct. Let me help the fans understand something.
Sure.
No matter what we do, we have to, no matter how many fights you see on TV, they have to be okayed and accepted by the commission. So we can say we can do anything we want to do. If the commission doesn't okay it, then it doesn't give us opportunity for it to happen. Once the commission okayed it for it to be a fight that had a quote unquote as an exhibition, Mike or Jake didn't say they wanted to be exhibition. They were trying to, protect, the situation. Anything happens, then whose shoulder does it fall on? Theirs. But then Mike said he wanted it to be a real fight. They were able to make it a real fight. And so now that's where it's at. No one went in there and said they didn't want it to be real one, but now they are. And so the fans are going to get what they want. Now it's on the record. So Mike loses. He gets another notch beside his name. And Jake gets another notch in winning on his. So it's a real fight. So for everyone who thought it was something different, no, those guys are going to be trying to knock each other out in it.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television on a happy
Hump Day
edition of the Evolution. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake. How do we start off this show? As we always do here on a Monday, a Wednesday night. You never know. Maybe a Saturday, maybe a Friday. No matter if there's breaking news or not, we try to get you abreast of the action, if you will. I said abreast. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. Update the situation. Your Tampa Bay Rays defeat the Miami Marlins, which is difficult for me to say because I want to say the Florida Marlins. The Miami Marlins 5-3. There you go. That's 3 in a row as they defeated them last night. And now their record all-time versus the Marlins here. 23-3. Wow. Talk about domination. So we will have Bushman on about 9:30 of the Rays Rewind podcast talking about the Tampa Bay Rays, taking your phone calls as always. Before I get ahead of myself, we'll have Leo Haggerty on here in just a couple minutes, the legend himself, former Coach Scout and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports, talking what else about your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The big report coming out a couple hours ago from Jenna Lane of ESPN. Tristan Wirfs expected to show up for mandatory minicamp. So Bucs fans, what do you say? What do you think? Baker Mayfield talked to the media yesterday. Todd Bowles, of course. Phone lines are open as always. Bucs fans, Rays fans, Lightning fans, any fans that you want to be. Of course, professional wrestling fans will get their fix about 10:20. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We'll have Harry the Greek. Again, we talked about Bushman, Leo Haggerty, maybe Ray Kennedy, maybe a surprise at 9:30. Somebody returning to the show. We'll see. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get my co-host on here. Here we go. Professional handicapper extraordinaire of the sports web. And this guy right here is an integral part of the evolution of sports talk television on Monday and Wednesday nights. Let's go out to Harry the Greek. Harry, what's going on after the Tampa Bay Rays take care of business? What is that? 3 in a row now. And in fact, with that win, they're back to 500. How about those Tampa Bay Rays?
They just can't seem to get over the hump, but thank God they're beating up on teams that they're supposed to. Peter, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, buddy. Doing great.
And don't be rude to my boy in the back room. Get his ass in here like he's supposed to be.
Listen, I'm just trying to set up the show because, as I always say here, I set the table so everybody else can come to eat. With that being said, anytime you get around this,
What did you have for dinner?
Well, anytime you get around this guy, you eat well. We had some Outback Steakhouse on Sunday. That's another story we'll tell. Little medium well action there from this guy right here. Let's go. Former Coach Scott and now media member of Night Sports Productions and Amped Up Sports, Mr. Leo Haggerty, coming right there for you here on a happy hump day edition as the Tampa Bay Rays beat the Marlins 2 nights in a row now, 5-3. And of course, we always have Bucs news on the sports web. How you doing tonight, my friend?
Hanging in there, guys. Played a little golf with Coach Al Curtis today. We saw a lot of the course. Luckily, I had my sunscreen on. The problem was I got a little sunscreen in the eyes, so I'm kind of looking like Ray Kennedy a little bit, you know?
That's what Ray looks like every night. Oh, it doesn't even have to have sunscreen in his eyes. But that's definitely another story here. We're not going to talk about the Rays right away. We can get into – actually, you know what? We can get your thoughts on the Rays. They get back to 500, 2 in a row. 15 consecutive games, guys. I didn't know if you knew this, but the Rays get down tonight. They take a first inning lead. And, oh, by the way, after that, they never look back, right? So 5-3 Rays. Leo, your thoughts, and then we'll get out to you, Harry.
Well, you know what, guys? I think we're going to see the Rays just kind of in June and probably half of July, just hang around 500. And then they'll probably make a little bit of a push because there is one advantage of playing indoors with those dog days of August and September. You're indoors, and it's going to help them, especially their pitching staff. So, again, I thought they'd be somewhere between 84 and 88 wins, and I'm going to stick with that.
Yeah. Well, I tell you right now, Zach Eflin comes back tonight. 4 innings, 2 hits, not necessarily the same Zach Eflin as last year, but coming off the injury, that was encouraging. And, of course, Aesop Paredes with the double and, of course, a couple RBIs there. So, Harry, back to 500 for the Tampa Bay Rays. And now the big test comes this weekend versus the Baltimore Orioles coming into town.
They got to go on a 10-game win streak, like I said a month ago.
Yeah.
And when they go on that 10-game win streak, then I might start to believe in this team, and then they have to continue to win series after series after series.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is just going to be an average to below average team this year, unfortunately.
Well, and we'll see how it all turns out. Again, Aesop Paredes, 2 for 4, 2 doubles, a run, and 3 RBIs. He's been one of the most consistent forces on this team. Jose Siri starting to pick it up. Randy Arozarena starting to pick it up. Brandon Lau picking it up. He picked it up last night with 5 RBIs. And if those guys are hitting at the top and the bottom of your lineup, I think you're going to do very well. Now, with that being said, speaking of, top of everybody's minds, if you will, this top story came out today from Jenna Lane of ESPN that Tristan Wirfs is expected to show up to mandatory minicamp. So now the Bucs, a sigh of relief, got a chance to talk to Scott Reynolds today of Pewter Report when he thinks this deal will get done. Leo, when do you think the Tristan Wirfs deal will get done? And are you surprised by this report coming out today from ESPN?
Peter, why is that news? It's mandatory. You get fined if you don't show up.
Right.
The defensive tackle is not going to show up and get fined? I mean, that's wasted words. This was going to happen. He's going to come in. He's going to be the good teammate because he is under contract. I got a feeling they're going to try to work it out this summer. But let's be honest, guys, there may not be a whole lot of money hanging around right now. I mean, you signed Antoine Winfield. You got, Mike Evans back in. And they may have to wait to get that money available. But I can assure you, they're not going to let Tristan Wirfs walk. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen either. And a lot of rumors put out there, of course, clickbait stuff, Harry. And we kind of talked about it. Just relax, believe in Jason Light, believe in this administration because they take care of their own players. And you certainly are not surprised by this report with Tristan Wirfs. What's your over-under for them to get this deal done eventually?
Oh, they're going to get the deal done. Mandatory means mandatory. Doesn't say he has to mandatorily participate.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, he just has to show up. And he's not that kind of guy. He's classy. They're going to get it done. But then again, how much money they got to spend? And I'm not trying to go down that rabbit hole, Pete.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get into an argument with you about
what's the argument?
Nothing, sir. Zero. I'm not saying anything. Right, Leo? They're going to sign him. And Jason Light, we trust. They just keep printing the money through that machine, and it just keeps coming. Right, Leo?
Hard to fight with the fanboy up there.
There you go. Okay. Oh, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Oh,
I got your fanboy right here because I just put out facts and stats. With that being said, we always say the phone lines are open, and of course they are. Let's go out to the webheads here. Let's talk to Mr. Curtis from Newport Richie. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Mr. Harry the Greek, and of course the legend himself, Leo Haggerty.
And Turbo.
What's going on? What's going on, fellas? How y'all doing?
What's going on, buddy? Raised back to 500, of course, defeating the Marlins. I know you're happy about that, being a Red Sox fan. In fact, I believe the Rays have overtaken your Red Sox. So I'm going to put that there. But
dude, we just had this conversation the other day. Hey, Harry, me and him just literally had this conversation the other day. You come see me in July and August, okay?
It's almost July. We got one more month to go, but you're exactly right.
Yeah, that's a long time. That's a long time.
Yes.
I'm not. I was listening to you guys. The Tristan Wirfs deal. I'm not worried about.
Okay.
They. I mean, let's just say this. The dumbest thing in the world is Tristan Wirfs walk, which we know that's probably not going to happen. What I want to talk to you guys about is what's up with all this money these wide receivers are making.
Well, you got Jefferson who got paid handsomely yesterday, and he deserves it. But
handsomely.
I mean, he got the bag, as the kids would say. He definitely got the bag yesterday. Did he not deserve it?
I'd like to jump in on this. Of course,
sure.
He deserves it. But that is a team. That is a team that's not going to have enough money in their organization to make any moves, literally any moves for the next 3 years.
Nope. I agree. And the reason that, the whole wide receiver thing is bothering me because, I was watching SportsCenter today, of course, and, they were talking about CeeDee Lamb or whatever that guy's name is.
Yep.
And I'm like, look, y'all can barely afford Dak. How are y'all going to play him? Then you got to pay Parsons. I'm like, what? Like, I'm sorry. These receivers.
Well, if they had Jason Light,
and also
they could sign everybody.
Well,
right, Leo?
It's not about Jason Light and Mike Greenberg. It's also about the
good joke.
I know it's a joke, but it's also about the Brady effect, right? I mean, and we continue to laugh about that because he's not a part of the team. Because I know you love this sound effect there.
Hey, Leo, is your mic on or no?
God, I hope not, because anymore. The only thing that can be worse than the Brady effect is if they put that guy in the Ring of Honor. That's when I say sayonara.
Well, they're going to put him in the Ring of Honor.
No, you don't know that to be for sure. They're going to put him in the Ring of Honor, Peter.
I'll tell you right now. I think there's more of a probability of.
Question: is Brad Johnson in the Ring of Honor?
No.
Oh.
No, but it's
what?
It's the great. Listen, it's the greatest of all time. You want to be attached to that greatness. Furthermore,
all time in Tampa Bay.
That's right.
He's been on par with
I would put Steve DeBerg in there before I put him in there.
Well, guys, in the short time that he was with the Bucs, he won a Super Bowl, and again, he had the Brady effect. Which what I was getting to is, you teach players that you don't necessarily have to be the highest paid.
I got to do this. Just look at Leo's face.
What? I'm just saying you don't have to be the highest paid quarterback. You don't have to be the highest paid wide receiver. And that's why Bucs fans, and they should be happy with the organization and Jason Light for what kind of contract they signed with Mike Evans. And Mike Evans could have got a big-time contract from anybody. He could have been one of the highest-paid wide receivers in his career, and he chose not to. He chose to stay in Tampa. Chris Godwin will have that decision, but again,
but Mike Evans have gotten all his bags, okay?
But he could have gotten a bigger bag. That's the point.
Really. Not much bigger than he got. He's up in age, bro.
But again, we've had this conversation. All three of us, all four of us. Yeah, he could have went somewhere else, got a bigger bag, but he's not paying no state tax. He's going somewhere else where he's paying state taxes and all those other taxes. That money equals out to be about the same.
Well, you're exactly right about that. But again, it's also about being not selfish, but selfless. And that's the Brady effect. And I think that's going to have the
Brady effect. Tom Brady made Mike Evans stay this last contract.
Oh, I mean, but I think players have seen the
just asking for a friend.
I think players have seen, well, first and foremost, the reason why Evans stayed is because of the relationship he had with Jason Light and this fucking organization. Because once again, Light takes care of his own players, which he's shown. Right. Okay. Then on top of it, it's a great situation to stay in because you have Baker Mayfield, you have Chris Godwin. You going back to it, you have the history there, and Leo, I just guess there you go.
There he is. I got Leo. Don't worry about him.
You know, to answer your question, what's the reason? And then also, I think he saw Brady through those years there, a couple of years, and I think that's had an impact on this entire organization with their players. Leo just said, "Screw it, I don't want to be a part of this anymore. You guys are talking too much about Tom Brady and the Brady effect," but it makes lots of sense. And we heard about this a couple of years ago when Brady, we knew that he was going to retire, and you kind of scoffed at it, but he taught these players, and players saw that. And the blueprint is out there. Say whatever you want to, make all the jokes you want to, but the Glazers are not going to miss out on an opportunity to be attached to the greatest of all time, whether he was here for 1 or 2 years. Yes.
Let me ask this question.
Yes.
How many people are in the Ring of Honor for the Bucs?
Well, I mean, you have what? Sapp, Lynch, Barber, Leroy Selman, McKay, Culverhouse. Who else? Doug Williams. That was one. You had John Gruden, but he got taken out.
Of course. So let me ask you this question, Harry.
Yes.
This one, Harry's going to love this one.
Derek Brooks, of course, yes, in the ring.
Does Brady deserve to be in there over Allstott?
No. I think there's 14 players.
Why is Allstott not in the Ring of Honor?
Is he?
I don't know.
Let me see if he's in the Ring of Honor. Is he in the Ring?
I think there's 14.
I don't think he is.
Here, let me look this up. There's 14 players. I was like Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, Simeon Rice. Oh, Mike Allstott is in there. John Lynch, Rondé Barber, Monty Kiffin, Tony Dungy.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean, don't get me wrong. We appreciate the Super Bowl. We've had this conversation. We appreciate the Super Bowl, but three years of service is nothing.
Well, it's more than nothing because again, you may have won a Super Bowl there. And I know what you're saying and what everybody's saying. Hasn't been here that long, and I would make the same point. I guess Leo's having problems with his Wi-Fi tonight. I would say the same thing about Warwick Dunn. People would say, well, he wasn't here that long. Well, look what he did on the field and off the field.
But that's what I was going to say. Warwick Dunn was a community activist.
Yeah, but that's not what they could. They don't put these players in there for what they do in the community. Although I think they should. I think they put them in for the accolades and what they've done for the football team per se, not so much for the community. I hear what you're saying, and please don't anybody out there say this. I'm thinking the wrong way. But no, I don't think that's why they're in there.
Exactly what you're saying.
There's 14 members in it. I have my opinion. It's like an asshole. Everybody's got one. I don't think Brady should be in the Ring of Honor. Great player. Yes, he's the GOAT. The bad taste of my mouth was the last year he was with this organization, and he held this team hostage. He did not want to play for him. And then the ownership and the general manager made him go ahead and fulfill his contract. If he would have played with his full heart and he would have been here 100%, I'd have a different opinion about it. But he couldn't wait to get out of this situation.
Well,
He didn't want to play anymore.
Some of that is alleged. We don't know that for a fact if that's also true or not. Some of that stuff is alleged.
Whatever there's smoke, there's fire.
Well, that's like Simeon Rice. Why hasn't he been considered for the Hall of Fame?
Well, because he's a one-dimensional player, and he was a
Simeon Rice had to go up against players like Reggie White, Richard Dent. I mean, these type of players. I mean, if he played one position inside, that'd be a different story. Simeon Rice would be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But if you think you have to remember, he's a Hall of Famer for his position, not for just being the player. Okay, it's for his position. And for defensive ends, you're right, Peter. He was a one-trick pony and one of the best to ever play. If he was ever better against the run, and he was 100% every down, considerably just moving and going with that high motor, definitely would have been a Hall of Famer.
And I guess we're having some problems with Leo's Wi-Fi, so we'll try to get him on later or next week or something. But I don't know what's going on there. But we're having that type of problem. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't have a problem. I mean, listen, I'm you know me. I wasn't ever the biggest Brady fan. I appreciate him coming to Tampa. I appreciate him getting us a ring.
Right.
But he will never be a Buccaneer. He will always be when he goes into the Hall of Fame, it'll be as a Patriot.
See, and
what? Do you think he's going to wear 2 uniforms in a Hall of Fame, Peter?
Yeah, he's not going to wear 2 uniforms. He'll always be known as a Patriot, but for his legacy, going forward, Tampa Bay is as important as the Patriots, and this is why. And I want to go full screen on this. I want you guys to understand.
I know what he's going to say, Harry. I know what he's going to say.
Why this is important for his legacy?
He won without Belichick.
Correct, exactly. He won without Belichick. He won in a COVID year and a pandemic year with a new offense, a first-year offense. So his legacy is as important with the Bucs as it is with the Patriots, just because of that. Probably more important. I'm going to tell you what. Probably more important, guys, because of the fact he did it without Belichick, and everybody had the whole conversation. Did he do it with Belichick? Could he do it without? He did it without Belichick. So it is important.
Let me ask you.
Yes.
Oh God, I got to go deep into this, Harry. You got to get in on this one, Harry. Now,
and Leo is back, by the way. So
Leo, we love. Oh, Leo, I'm glad you're back. Leo, I want you in on this one too.
Leo's upset with me.
If we go back and we analyze those New England Super Bowls, how many Super Bowls did they win because of Brady? Or was it the defense?
I think personally, it was a team effort.
I would say 3 Super Bowls.
I'd say it was really a team effort, especially for the defense. The defense played lights out in every single Super Bowl. In my opinion, they did.
Sure.
That they won, actually.
But remember, one was what, 13-3?
Yeah. I'd have to say the defense was the major reason, in my opinion. But Tom Brady, you can't discount it. I mean, it's Tom friggin' Brady.
I'll never discount him. I'll never discount him. I'll never disrespect the man. All I'm saying is
you could even say that Trent Dilfer had a great game when the Baltimore Ravens won. I mean, nobody ever gives him any kind of credit either, but I don't see him in the Ring of Honor.
He's not going to be in the Ring
Baltimore
of Honor because he doesn't own the passing records in Tampa Bay history.
Oh, I didn't say Tampa. I don't see him in the Ring of Honor up in Baltimore.
It's what it's about.
Jameis Winston owned records in Tampa Bay passing history.
Okay,
but yeah, sure he does. He's got that 30-30 club, right, Leo?
Is he gonna be in the Ring of Honor?
No, it's different because Jameis Winston didn't win a Super Bowl. Tom Brady did. That's where the argument stops.
But wasn't Winston with this team at least 5 years?
What does that matter? What did he do?
It means a lot.
He never won a Super Bowl, let alone a playoff game. Stop spouting nonsense. You know
it's not nonsense.
It
Peter.
is nonsense. Come on, man. Come on.
It's not nonsense.
Come
Peter.
on. I will bet you any amount of money that Tom Brady will be in the Ring of Honor for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay,
I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it because of the marketability of Tom Brady.
Of course.
But for
Of course.
deserving it, no. I mean, there's other players that Tampa Bay has lined up that is just as deserving, if not more, for the blood, sweat, and tears that they put onto that field.
Maybe.
In front of those fans, and and players that wanted to play for the organization throughout their
He
career.
did want to play for the organization. He chose the organization. He's probably the greatest free agent that's ever been had besides Reggie White.
Let's how about we go to the offensive line? Is Ali Marpet going to be in the Ring of Honor eventually?
I don't know if he's going to be in there or not, but a lot of people would say he played a short time, so that would disqualify him. I think it's impact. I don't think it's. Leo, go ahead and respond, man. I mean, I don't know what you're saying here. Go ahead, talk, because I can't hear you.
Here, the Ring of Honor is the Ring of Honor.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not the ring of I won a Super Bowl. It's not the ring that I was and I came in as a mercy. Hold it. If you put Tom Brady in the Ring of Honor, I am burning every Tampa Bay Buccaneer thing I own, because that is a slap in the face at every Buccaneer player. You know, are you going to put Warwick Dunn in there? Or are you going to put Jackson in there, who was the MVP of the Super Bowl?
That's right, Dexter Jackson.
You can't put a guy in a Ring of Honor that played for you for 3 years.
I mean, how about Kevin House, who had to endure all the years, or Jimmy Giles, or come on, let's keep going on.
I believe Jimmy Giles is in the Ring of Honor.
Well, I'm just saying there are so many players.
Your example is not right. Jimmy Giles is in the Ring of Honor.
No, I'm sorry. I don't know all. I knew how many players there were roughly.
Right.
I couldn't recite them like you do, Peter.
Well, I mean, but again, your example was, what if they put this guy in? What they put this guy in? How much of an impact did Tom Brady have on this organization?
He had a great impact for a couple of years.
The biggest impacts in their history.
The reason his impact was so big is because he already had a name.
It doesn't matter though what he did in those years. In the year that
he was great for 2 of the 3 years. You're absolutely right.
Not just great. MVP type of level numbers.
Well, yeah, and I agree with you for 2 of those 3 years. That third year, let's just be honest. That third year, he didn't give a shit. He didn't.
Right, he wasn't good.
He didn't give a shit.
Well, I think it's also father time. I don't think it's just he didn't give a shit. I think it's time.
Wait a minute now.
I think it's father time.
Mister, I show up to training camp when I want to.
Well, look,
Mister,
I get that.
I go to Robert Kraft's wedding.
I get that. I get that. There's also distractions, but there's also father time. And also that offensive line wasn't very good. It just wasn't Brady. It's just not on Brady. But the point is, who had the biggest impact out of all those names? If you're going to sit here and tell me that Tom Brady didn't have one of the biggest impacts in Tampa Bay history, then I don't know what you were watching. And that deserves Ring of Honor clearance.
I don't know.
We're all entitled to our opinion. I don't think he needs to be.
I mean, it depends on how you feel, because, now listen, would you put him in there over Tony Dungy? Of course not. Would you put him over there over Sapp? Of course not. Right. Over Brooks, over Lynch? No, you wouldn't put him in there over.
No, wait a minute. Hold on. Now, into Peter's defense, he's brought more of an impact than all those players have.
No, I said he has brought one of the biggest impacts in their Tampa Bay history.
If he's done it in a total of his first year, that would have the most impact, because it took Warwick Dunn many years to get them to the Super Bowl.
Did he not have did he not have one of the biggest impacts in Tampa Bay Buccaneer history? Yes or no?
I just agreed with you.
Okay then.
But I still don't think he should be in the Ring of Honor. 3 years.
No, I mean, let's not put the greatest of all time in the Ring of Honor after he donned a Bucs uniform and won a Super Bowl in his first year in a first-year offense. Let's not do that, guys. Let's just go ahead and say, because he wasn't here for 5 or 6 years. No, come on, man.
Because he wasn't here for 5 or 6 years.
And And guess what? That makes him even more. That makes him even more of a candidate for the Ring of Honor, because the guys who have been here 5 or 6 years or longer, he actually made a bigger impact. If you want to look at it, if you want to really look at it from the standpoint, I mean, guys, you won a Super Bowl in 2002. After that, what did you do? How many? What was it? A year of decade?
They were on the do theory, and they had a hell of a team, Peter.
Oh, they were on a what theory? What were they on?
They had a hell of a. I'm just saying, after so many years, you are due to finally have a good season. Okay, let's be real. Okay,
I get that,
with or without Tom Brady, this team was still going to the playoffs. Whether they're winning it, I don't know, because of Gronkowski. But you know what? They still had a better offensive line, even with the human turnstile on there.
If you don't have Brady, you don't get Gronkowski, you don't get Leonard Fournette, you don't get Antonio Brown, which, that first year
you're right,
was good.
But let's say this, Peter, because I know this is the big thing.
Yeah.
The year before Brady got here, Winston threw 30 touchdowns, 30 interceptions.
Correct.
If that would have been anybody else and they wouldn't have thrown 30 interceptions, this team was a playoff team.
I don't know. I don't know that. That was the impact.
I believe you believe that.
But I don't know. Again, look, who knows? Who knows at the end of the day? But here's what we do know. We do know that the greatest player of all time in NFL history, the GOAT, came to Tampa Bay in a pandemic year, in a first-year offense, and won a Super Bowl. And not only won a Super Bowl, like, he's not Peyton Manning where he's throwing 8 touchdowns and 15 interceptions, something like. No, he threw for 40 touchdowns, guys. He has all the passing records in Tampa. That's why he's in the Ring of Honor.
He had a Pro Bowl year.
He had a Pro Bowl. He had an MVP type of year.
He didn't win it, though.
No, he didn't win it, but he could have definitely made the case for it.
Who did win that MVP, by the way?
Aaron Rodgers.
I feel like he got screwed out of that.
I could have went the whole year without knowing that.
Well, there you go. That's what you wanted to know.
I feel like, now listen, those first 2 years, I feel like he did get screwed out of the MVP one of those years. Absolutely. Because if you remember, at the NFL Honors, he also won Offensive Player of the Year.
Correct. In a first-year offense, guys. First-year offense in a pandemic.
Hold on. I got to understand. What is the significance of the pandemic? Because there's no fans in the stands?
It's not just no fans in the stands. You're not sure about, what the protocols are going to be.
But what's the significance of it, though? I don't understand why you keep bringing that narrative up.
It is important
help me understand that.
History. Nobody's ever gone. We've never gone through that through history with all the protocols, with everything, with all the restrictions, everything like that. It makes it even better.
How?
You're not able to have. What do you mean? What you're not able? You weren't able to train at first. You weren't able to do this. You weren't able to. You didn't even know if you're going to have a football season in the first place. You're under.
Okay. But they did have. I was just asking. I just wanted to know for myself.
If I have to explain this to you, then you weren't there.
Don't insult me, Peter. I was there. I was there.
So how
important? I don't see the significance of what the pandemic had to do with this. Everybody was in the pandemic,
right? And the Bucs, with a new quarterback in a first-year offense, was able to throw for 40 touchdowns and lead this team after going 7-5. To a Super Bowl on a new team without Bill Belichick, which killed the whole argument about how it was all Belichick and all his system.
You know what? That could actually hurt your case a little bit about the pandemic, and I'll let Leo speak, because there were a lot of opposing teams that they were playing supposedly may have had a lot of players out because of the pandemic. That's why I'm saying, what was the significance of the pandemic? Well, you're right, because nobody got sick from it. So what's the significance of the pandemic? The guy had a phenomenal year. We can agree to disagree. You agree he should be in the Ring of Honor.
You just have an axe to grind with Brady because you think
I don't have an axe to grind with Brady.
You have an axe to grind with Brady because you said at the first of the argument, well, he didn't give a damn about playing for the Bucs. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he had distractions at that point. Maybe he was going through a divorce, or maybe it was father time. But let's not go ahead and underscore the significance of what the man meant to the organization.
You're right. Please, man. You're right. Please. I asked you to clarify something, but as usual, you get overboard.
No, you got overboard.
I didn't get overboard about nothing. Now my decibels are getting higher. You see that? My decibels got up.
Okay, good.
For what?
Anything else? Anything else?
Nothing. I was just asking.
Okay. There you go. All right, Curtis, we're going to let you go. Appreciate the call. As always, we got to get Al Bushman on here. I want to ask him, and then we'll talk about the Rays. But give me some final thoughts here, Leo, here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television.
Now, one simple question. Brad Johnson, is he in the Ring of Honor?
He's not in the Ring of Honor.
That's the point I made.
Right, but we're comparing Brad Johnson, who's a good quarterback.
Oh, no, I'm comparing Brad Johnson as a Buccaneer to Tom Brady as a Buccaneer. Both won Super Bowls.
Okay, but one has all the passing records and the other guy does not.
Doesn't matter.
That's what it matters. That's what it has to matter. That's the difference in the organization.
It's a losing argument, Leo.
I'm just stating the facts at the end of the day, guys.
Yeah.
I asked some really concise, honest questions, and I'm getting chastised like I'm a 5-year-old. Listen, I am not the almighty Buccaneer knowledgeable person as you are.
Listen, if you don't have thick enough skin to deal with some type of debate because you're always patting yourself on the back how you're always right.
Hey, easy.
And I give you the facts.
Easy. I didn't do that, okay? I asked you a challenging question, so
and
talk to me.
I answered it.
Then answer it without insulting somebody, okay? Because I can do the same thing.
Okay, well, you could go ahead and do the same thing if you want to. Okay, then. I didn't insult you. I just talked about it. I said if you weren't there during the pandemic, then what are we talking about? Of course, it's a big.
I was there during the pandemic.
Okay,
but you keep bringing up a narrative about a pandemic. It was still a football season.
It was still a big deal, and there were still protocols and still stuff like that out there. All right, Leo.
One last thing on this, then I'm going to jump out. But
yeah,
if I'm not mistaken, when the Bucs won the Super Bowl, Kansas City didn't score a touchdown.
That's correct.
Right? They didn't win it because of Brady. They win it because of those 11 guys on defense.
I definitely will not disagree with you on that point at all. In fact, they disposed of quarterbacks of Drew Brees and, of course, Aaron Rodgers and Patrick Mahomes with their defense. But Brady that year was definitely a big part of that offense. Leo, appreciate it. As always, my friend, we'll have you on next Wednesday, all right?
What's up, Leo?
Good stuff. There you go. Good stuff. Let's go out to Mr. Evan L. Bushman after the Rays take care of business 3 in a row over the Marlins as we're getting heated here. I got to ask you, because we've been talking about this, Bush, and we're going
is it like a slow news day? You guys have to talk about past stuff?
I mean, they brought it up, and I felt like we needed to. They wanted to bring it up. Well, no, Harry, you don't do anything. You don't do anything at all, Harry.
I don't know what you're talking about. I brought it up, Peter.
Well, somebody brought it up, so we want to go ahead and talk about it here. That's what we do. In your opinion, Tom Brady belongs in the Ring of Honor? Yes or no?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
And why does
that's real convincing?
What is it?
What do you expect him? He's going to say, Pete.
He definitely has a good case for it. I think maybe other players are deserving over him that should be in it by now. But he definitely has a spot in the ring when it's time. If that gives you an answer.
Okay, and I think he had it as much or more of an impact as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer in his short time.
I would say he's definitely got a spot in the Ring of Honor when his time has come. I think coming here to Tampa after spending so much time in New England really changed the culture down here. It really made this area Tampa Bay for a magical couple of years, and I think they've definitely changed the culture in that locker room when you have the GOAT coming down and you had so many impact players come in for an impact and less money too as well. And of course, he brought us the Super Bowl, so you can't really,
thank you.
Complain about that.
I love Brad Johnson. Don't get me wrong, but to compare those type of impacts and players, we ain't doing that on this show. All right, let's talk about the Tampa Bay Rays here. 3 in a row, 23-3 over the Marlins. They have dominated this series, and it seems like guys are starting to hit. Brandon Lau, Jose Siri, Randy Arozarena starting to get on. Talk about this Rays team the last couple of nights here. Welcome to the Evolution.
you should beat the Miami Marlins. If you don't, then there's something wrong with your team. So this is kind of like when we played the Oakland Athletics not so long ago, where you have to beat a really bad team, and that's what they went and did down in Miami. They beat a really bad team. Is it something to maybe celebrate? Yeah, wins are wins. But I want wins against quality teams, not teams that are sub 500 and are always fire selling their team and not bringing in talent. So, yeah, it's great to win against Miami Marlins. It's sad that this in-state rivalry isn't bigger than it should be. I mean, it should have like the makings of the Red Sox versus Yankees type rivalry, but it's not. It never will be, I don't think. But whenever you go down to Miami or whenever they come up here, it's always usually an easy couple of wins, and that's what they did down there. Yeah, the offense looked good, but I want to see it against quality pitching. To be honest with you,
Right.
look. We're back up to 500. That's great. But now you've got to face the Orioles, which come back into town this weekend, which I'll be going on Sunday on the Sunday game to watch. But I want to see wins against quality teams. That's it. Look, we talked about this.
They should have a pretty good showing against Baltimore.
I'm not talking about attendance, Harry. I'm talking about wins.
Wasn't talking about attendance. I said I thought the
team
would have a good showing. Yeah,
showing. What is a good showing? We're going to the movies here. A good showing is I want wins. I want to.
Wow,
I want to
another
see quality.
smart ass today. This is a real good job for me, man.
I want to see quality play against one of the top teams in the league. I
just said Baltimore is hurting, especially in their bullpen. They should have. They should play very well.
They weren't hurting too much against the Rays when they took the series against the Rays this past weekend.
Yeah, well, I see a different outcome possibly this weekend. Baltimore's
we
not
can
all
put
that in
money
the
on
bag
it.
of chips.
I'm feeling kind of squirrely. We can put some money on it. Whoever's going to win that series, and of course, my light goes out, so maybe that's something to come.
No, I should play a lot better. Maybe
we'll see. It wasn't. Well, if it's a confidence booster that you took the 2-game series against the Miami Marlins, coming back home against the Orioles for a nice little series against them this weekend. I mean,
it's a momentum.
It's a momentum, but how much momentum can you be? Because we've seen this happen where they go on a nice short little win streak, and then they come and play a good team, and then it's a big old
it's this. You're exactly right.
But look, listen, guys, I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer and say this team is not headed in the right direction. It's nice to see them get on a nice little mini win streak, but I want to see a win streak kind of like what the Yankees are doing. The Yankees are having a nice little 7-game, 8-game win streak here. So I would love to see the Rays kind of rip off one like they did last month for that nice 6-game win streak, and we all thought they were back, and then they fell flat on their faces yet again. So, I want to see quality baseball like we've seen flashes of. Mm-hmm. That's what I want to see against the Orioles, not hey, we're gonna, look like crap and play defense like crap, and we're gonna give up a lot of runs and not show any offense. So that's what I want to see. Put up 9 runs against the Orioles. That's what I want to see.
Gotcha. All right, let's go on to this guy here. He has some thoughts on the Tampa Bay Rays. Best of the Bay right there, Mr. Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy, on with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek, and of course, Mr. L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast, talking Rays baseball on this segment. I'm just going to start out there with Brady. How do you feel about Ring of Honor? And then we'll go to the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah, here we go.
I got to dig at it. Go ahead.
Why? Eventually,
keep it short, Ray. Keep it short. Keep it short.
First, I'm going to say, though, because Evan was right about the Marlins and the Rays and that rivalry, and I was thinking, it's a shame that the Sister City thing for the stadium didn't pass, and that Edmonton wouldn't have been a Sister City instead of Montreal, because not only would that have really been a hot series, this 2-game series, but then it would have made this upcoming Stanley Cup Finals between the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. But yeah, Brady in the Ring of Honor.
How many beers have you had, Ray?
What's that?
I said, how many beers have he had? The Edmonton Sister City? No, come on, man. Let's not talk about
You that. Got it right, Peter.
All right. So I don't know what you just said at all. All right. So Brady,
did you get it?
Oh yeah, I got it.
I didn't get it at all.
How you doing, Ray?
I don't know.
I'm over here at the $5 drink reading in Seminole. I'm telling you what, they got televisions everywhere, and I thought there was no sports on tonight. They're playing replays of a bunch of baseball games. Well, the baseball games, the Cubs game, but they got the Florida State Spring Showcase on in here, and all the TVs, and a really pretty good vibe for a Wednesday night. And I'm thinking, man, would this be a great place to have Buccaneer game day watch parties, Harry and Peter, and be up here on the deck, up here on the boat, and maybe having a little fun with that. But yeah, no, I mean, Evan, you're so right. These 2 games against the Marlins, games are supposed to win, but then grabbing the one they did in Baltimore and then having the won the 2 against 3 out of 3 against the Oakland A's beforehand, we're not racing to buy our playoff tickets yet, but we're not in a tailspin.
Well, you're definitely not in a tailspin. You didn't answer my question about Tom Brady, but that's okay. Nobody wants to answer.
Thank you.
Tonight. Yeah, because I'm the fanboy over here. Like,
nope, I said I didn't call you that.
You did. You did call me. Yes.
I think you need to go watch your tape.
All right, boys.
That was Leo that called you a fanboy.
Well, feelings, Evan, if you don't mind, I'll tell you my feelings once and for all, Peter, and you can go full screen on me. I'll tell you. If they told me they only were going to put one person in the Ring of Honor in 2024, and it's either Hardy Nickerson or Tom Brady, 56 is in that Ring of Honor. Not that Tom doesn't deserve to be there above a lot, but there's also some people that haven't gotten in there yet that maybe just because Tom's going to be host, they're going to do a Fox game here in week whatever, doesn't mean it's a slam dunk for the Ring of Honor. They still haven't even retired his number in New England. So that's my feelings. He's going to be there. I'm just saying he has to be the very next person.
All right. We'll see. We'll definitely see here. All right. So, with that being, I don't have any disagreement with Nickerson. I think Nickerson should be in there. Also, I think James Wilder.
Is Grammatica in it yet?
Put Martine in it. Grammatica.
Yeah, put Grammatica in it.
Why not Martine?
Yeah, put Martine in it.
All right, so let's talk about Zach Eflin's performance tonight, El Bushman. What did you see with him? You're such an idiot, Harry. I love you, though. We'll have Martine Grammatica on here sometime.
I'm telling you, man, I think they should put Martine in the Ring of Honor. That should be the next guy.
And by the way, Bush,
Eflin, I didn't see the game. Tell me, Evan. Talk about Eflin, because there was some people. I got into a debate last weekend. Tomorrow, if the Braves are offered something for Randy and Eflin in a trade in the summer, they should jump on. And I'm like, Zach is still the horse on this team. What happened tonight there in Miami? I didn't see the game.
So he was limited to a pitch count because of coming back from the back injury. So they had him going about 4 innings. So you kind of want to ease him back into the rotation. So that's good. I mean, he gave up 3 hits, struck out 3. So I think after more and more, you're going to see him go later in the games, depending on how he feels. But that trade rumor, look, we've been talking about trades on my show the past week or so about. I even said it last week, like, look, put me together a blockbuster trade. I mean, if this team is, right in the thick of it still by the time the trade deadline comes about, look, dangle some carrots that are available to trade. And they've got a lot of them that are available because there's so many, they've got so much depth that they can just say, hey, do you guys want this guy? Do you guys want that guy? They're available because this is the types of trades we want to make happen. But of course, it's the Rays and they don't make really big splashes at the trade deadline. But it's a good problem to have going towards the trade deadline because you have so many teams are probably going to look for a starting pitcher, probably look for an outfielder. So, if the rumors about Atlanta going after Eflin are true, look, he's going to be making a lot of money coming in the next season. And you know how the Rays are. They don't want to pay certain people some money if they're going to be on their last year of their deal. So I wouldn't be surprised if Eflin's gone because of the influx of arms that they're going to be coming back. You got Shane Baz. Jeffrey Springs is now a question mark because of that, the injury that he had or the inflammation that he had a couple weeks ago. He might be dangled out there, but will they pull a trigger? It's got to be kind of like a big trade to maybe, pull the trigger on Zach Eflin going somewhere else because you want to have those arms available for, a playoff run if they're going to be in it. Now, if they're under 500 and don't look like they're going to be going anywhere anytime soon, then you'll probably see Eflin go. You might even see Randy Arozarena. But I think Nick Wise said this, or he tweeted this out a couple days ago. Look, we want Randy to be, Randy Land Randy, where he's crushing the ball, getting on a nice little tear. That way you can maybe trade him and get some decent prospects or decent players coming back too. So it is what it is. I think with how they're playing, it's kind of I'm trying to be optimistic about this team, but they're a 500 club. And until we see some real improvement against better teams, as I said before, then we can say, okay, they're going to be in the thick of a playoff run. Now, obviously, look, if you look at the wild card standings, the wild card. I think there's only a couple of games that separate all the teams. I think the Rays are only 4.5 back, and all the other teams above them are only a couple of games. So you can kind of say they're still in the thick of the wild card race, but they need to play more consistent, better baseball to rise up in the standings and make a case for, hey, we're going to be that second spot for the wild card, or maybe we're going to be.
Are you romantic? Are you romantic at all? I mean, I know you're the youngest guy here. I think I'm the oldest. Oh my God, no, Harry, maybe you're a little older.
I mean, when it comes to baseball, you got to be romantic about baseball. You got to have those high hopes about your team.
Sorry.
But like with this
I
team,
love me some baseball.
But with this team, from what we've seen so far, from the jump, from the get go in April and now till present day, it's this team isn't all that great, isn't all that well rounded, and we've seen it all the way around. I talked about this on the Rays Rewind podcast, which our new episode will be probably recording tomorrow, the next day. It's out right now on YouTube. The latest episode was recorded on Monday. We talked about how the Rays have one little weak link each year, and this year it's been all the weakest link. There hasn't been one weakest link. There's been weak links all the way around, from managerial decisions, from cash, from the defense, from the bullpen, especially the offense. And we've known that's true. And even the starting rotation has some weak links in there. So it's when you become a complete team, then you're going to make a run. And right now they're not. And maybe it's because they don't have the right guys there. Or maybe it's the hitting coach, or maybe it's just, the lack of vanilla or the lack of funness that we see out of this team, because this team to me is just a vanilla team. They're not really exciting to see in person. They're not exciting like they've been in past years. They're not that, they don't have the mojo like they've had in past seasons.
Evan, you're such a millennial. Listen to you. I mean, I get it. You're talking about the mojo in the last couple of years, and you're probably one of them people that would bitch about hanging wild card banners in the stadium. But you're right. This team is smart to use a guy like Eflin, like a David Price, or going back with Matt Garza to trade away. But I know if this staff wouldn't have got injured last season, along with the offensive output, I think we would have had we'd have expected to win that World Series. And I always thought we're not even going to get Sugar Shane back, and then Springs and Rasmussen. This was always a 2-year project for me. So if there's a presentation made for them to get something for Eflin, and he goes, you know what, I wanted to be with the Twins in Orlando. I came here to be by family, which is why you got me on a good contract, but I'd like to go to Atlanta and try to maybe get a series, then I think you do that. But if it's not, I still say, as a romantic in my heart, I stick it out for next season when we get this rotation back, and maybe Randy is back to Randy Land Randy.
Well, I would go ahead, Evan, and then we'll go ahead and move on to Ryan Pepio, because he pitched well last night. In fact,
I mean, you can say that, but then if you're saying, hey, we're looking forward to 2025, then it's almost like you're saying you're waving the white flag if you're looking forward to that rotation that's coming up. So right now with the team that they're at, trades are probably, I would say they were on the seller line about being a seller at the trade deadline. I can say they're now more teetering towards the buyer side now too, of course, but it just kind of depends on how they're going to get through June. And then, the first little half of July, now we're in the dog days of summer. This is where teams are going to start really separating themselves from teams. And this is where teams start to get injured too. This is where the injury bug starts to happen for teams. So when it comes to the trade deadline and Eflin's available, which I don't think he is, but it kind of depends on where the Rays are going to be at. If they're really if they're so far underneath 500, he's gone. If they're kind of close to it and they're thinking they're going to make a run for the playoffs, then he's going to stay. But if the offer is there, the Rays are probably going to pull the trigger on trading Zach Leff. They're going to be open to trading anybody. I think right now anybody is available on this roster to make a trade for. Randy's probably available. Brandon Lau is probably available. Harold Ramirez is probably available because he was available last year and he hasn't really played much, so he's still available now. So there's so many guys on that team that are probably going to be available. Look, I love it when teams trade. I love the trade deadline more than most people do when it comes to baseball, because it shakes things up. And when it comes to the Rays, I would love to see them shake it up and maybe make a blockbuster trade, but I know that's not going to happen because that's not their MO. But hey, this year's a different year. Maybe they can just be like, you know what? Screw it. Let's go all in, make some crazy ass trades, and let's just go in for a playoff run.
Hey, Evan, I apologize. I won't yell. I apologize to you, Evan, because you're 100% right. At the end of the day, it is a business, and the good teams make those deals, and everything has to be on the table. So I called you a millennial. I think it's because I'm the romantic, I'd like to see this staff have another run at it. But, I'm the guy that was rooting for the Buccaneers back in 1976 to get their first victory. So sorry.
I look, apology accepted, but is this team equipped to make a playoff run? No, they are not. They are not
Do you
equipped
think
to
they're
make a playoff
buying
run.
or selling at the deadline?
I think get back to me in a few weeks. Right now, they're a buyer. I would say get back to me in a couple weeks and see how they are. If they're like kind of playing still mediocre, low, crappy baseball, then they're going to be selling all day. But I would get back to me in a couple weeks.
Is this Baltimore series? Is this like this is big, right? It's not the end of the world. This is the American League East opponent that you're going to have to bet, and then the Yankees, of course. That's the biggie.
I would say as a confidence booster, this would be a big series for them because you're coming off of a 3-game win streak. They're coming back home, and now the Orioles are back in town. They took a series from you over the weekend. I would say as a confidence booster, you want to play good and you want to take the series from the O's. That way, okay, hey, maybe we're starting to get on the right track because this schedule, this next few weeks of schedule is very brutal against teams that are over 500. I think there's maybe one opponent. I think it's maybe the White Sox that they play again. But the rest of the guys that they're playing, they're either about to be they're like over 500 or they're like over 500. So this is a big stretch of games that are very important going into the Midsummer Classic. So I would say from now on, every kind of game is going to count for them to have more and more success going forward. It's got
Peter, I see you. I got to ask Evan. You said it Midsummer Classic. Getting all. I see Peter doing it. He was waiting for it. Peter, I'll let you ask the question. Go ahead.
No, I mean Ryan Pepio. What do you think about this performance? Ray, you got to mute your mic. All right.
Yeah, it's got so much background noise, man.
His mic is so loud.
It is. It's so loud, and just I got to get you one of my mics. We got to get you set up like us because it sounds good, and it's just okay.
To go with I like Pepio, man. I think he's still a work in progress, but from what we've seen from him. I like it. He's Tyler Glass now, almost 2.0. I mean, he's got the haircut and everything. I think he wears the socks the same as Glass now too. That trade that we had with the Dodgers last year with DeLuca and Pepio is seems to be working out pretty good so far. Now I know Glass now is really pitching towards a Cy Young this year, the way he's kind of mowing through people. But with Pepio, he looks really good. I like him. I like him as a pitcher. I think he's just going to get better and better. And you never know if Eflin is either traded or not coming back next year, he can make a case to be the number one guy. If he keeps kind of improving and keep pitching the way he is, he could probably be at the top of the rotation. So I like him.
I like him too. And I like the fact that not only he gets through that hard inning with 36 pitches, but then one hit.
That's amazing, man.
And 3-0 on the road. So
Peter, talk about moxie where you have such a bad inning, but then you roll the rest of the way. That's tenacity, man, and that's what I want to see out of a pitcher. Not a pitcher that has a 36 pitch first inning, gives up 3 runs, and then is just petering out the rest of the way, and you yank him probably in the 3rd or 4th. Like what he did, it shows me it's like, okay. This is the type of pitcher that I've been wanting to see. That's resilience, and that's got the moxie of a makings of a starter and a superstar pitcher going forward.
How much concern do you have, Evan? We got Evan Bushman here, Evan L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast. It's a Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, along with Mr. Harry the Greek, and of course, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay, out on remote there at 5 Drinks Brewery and Seminole.
He's got to get one of those $5 liquor pitchers, man.
Well,
it's on the way. Hey, Evan, I got to ask you because the thing was, and I'll talk lower. I apologize for yelling. It's just because I'm trying to. But the thing is about the stadium. I was asking about the Summer Classic because you mentioned it, Evan. Is that now it's like you hear this week? It's like, well, of course, Major League Baseball is going to guarantee us an All-Star game when we get a new stadium, and it's like. We're not going to build a 45,000 seat stadium. We're looking more towards a smaller, intimate for concerts and for other types of things at the stadium there. And as I'm asking this question, I realize that Evan doesn't care at all. But do you really think, guys, any of the three of you, that at the end of the day, after that stadium gets built with St. Petersburg the way it is, that baseball or anyone else wouldn't be falling all over themselves to come and have a Midsummer Classic there and be able to put it in the light that they could put it in down here in St. Petersburg, Florida?
To be honest with you, Ray, I hope by the time they get a new stadium, they get rid of the Midsummer Classic and everything else that is involved with it. Because I'm a very superstitious person, especially when it comes to baseball, and I think the All-Star Game and the Home Run Derby ruins momentum and ruins players after they get done playing that. I kind of want to go on, to be honest with you. It's kind of a boring game. The Home Run Derby is nice, but it's just like we saw what happened to Randy after he participated in the Home Run Derby. Look what he's doing now. He's doing nothing. I think it's the Home Run Derby curse. So I hopefully by that time they get rid of it. I want to go.
Yeah, and we'll see what they do at the trading deadline, and we'll see what they do with the stadium situation. Go ahead and give me some final thoughts here on the Rays series here versus the Baltimore Orioles this weekend.
Oh, by the way, Bush, I haven't had a chance to really talk to you. Yes, I will take your wager. I'll take Tampa in this series.
Oh man, I was gonna. Well,
okay. How much?
Baltimore?
How much shekels?
Yeah, how many doing? How many doing? How much are we doing?
I'll wager whatever you want.
Let's do $20. I mean, I'm not.
Sounds great. I like Tampa. I just got to look at the pitching matchups, and I do like this a lot.
All right.
I've got a little prediction about Baltimore. I think they're going to get cold here really quick. I'm not saying that this is ebbs and flows.
Ebbs and flows. Yeah.
And I like the momentum that Tampa has, especially after a horrible next to the White Sox, that are probably the most horrible team. And be careful. Don't wish for the White Sox to come around because they're only 2-4 against that horrible team. Okay, so those are the teams you don't want them to play. But you were kind of close, Evan. They're not playing the White Sox. They are playing the Cubs.
The Cubbies, okay.
Right.
Gotcha.
Who are struggling with the White Sox. So I do see this little bit of a momentum track that's going to be going on, and they can play. Let me be really clear. This team is not making the playoffs this year. I just think they're going to go on a nice run. I do think they could be a possible buyer in July. I don't see them doing that because you're absolutely correct. They don't typically, they don't do a lot of buying, but I really don't want to see them get rid of some of these star players because honestly, they are just a couple of bullpen arms from being relevant.
Yeah. Well, they're just a couple.
I mean, not just relevant.
Harry, I tell you what,
now, really relevant. They'd be a different story.
Harry, I tell you what, I looked at the starting pitching for the Rays, and you could possibly win $20 for me. They've got Savali on Friday, Taj Bradley on Saturday, Zach Littell on Sunday, and Pepio on Monday.
Yeah, I like it.
I like it too. So hey, you might win $20. All right. But see, I always bet against them in times like these, so you might win $20 for me. So it's like a win-win for both of us. You get $20 of my money, and the Rays could possibly.
But they got to win 3 out of 4.
I know.
2 and 2.
I know.
I mean,
2 and 2 is a wash.
It's like kissing our cousins, for God's sakes. Okay.
Well, I've never done that before, so I mean, that's.
Come on, that's not what Ray told me.
All right, now Bushman. Once again, go ahead and promote your podcast here on the Sports Web.
Yeah, of course. Just go to the YouTube page at the Sick Podcast, Rays Rewind. Make sure to hit the subscribe and notification bell when new episodes drop. We'll see you guys on the flippity flip.
Yes, sir. We'll see you next week. Appreciate you as always, Mr. L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast. We'll bring
I like
it in
the
here.
Bush.
I do too. And I know he came in, with the Tom Brady stuff and how it was heated. And that's what we do. Yeah, Tom Brady ring of honor.
Thing.
Yeah, Tom Brady. Let's go out to the comments here because we kind of neglected the webhead tonight. What's up, dude? What's going on, Christopher? How you doing?
Yeah.
Let's go out to Christopher again. We have to talk about Devin Tompkins. WTF? Yeah, that was kind of an allegation put out there on TikTok as we are live on TikTok right now by his girlfriend. And don't yawn. Don't go.
Sorry, man. Sorry. It's 5 after 10.
Yeah, it is. Stand by here. Let me go out to the phone lines. Hold on. We'll finish up here. Welcome to the Evolution. You're on with yours truly, along with Harry the Greek and, of course, Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy.
What's going on, guys? It's Frankie.
What's going on, Frankie? How you doing, bud?
Jumped in a little early because I hear y'all talking a little bit of baseball.
Yeah, talking baseball and also talking Bucs and it got brought up somehow, Ring of Honor for Tom Brady. So that's also on the table.
I'm going to say this. Ricky Bell needs to get Ring of Honor before Tom Brady.
And I'm going to tell you right now, it's probably not going to happen because of the significance and how Brady is retired from the game.
It's just an opinion.
I know. Listen, everybody can have an opinion. I'm just saying what most likely is going to happen is Tom Brady's going to be in the Ring of Honor. That's just my opinion. All right, go ahead.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and they're entitled to their incorrect opinion. That's fine.
Well, I mean, if you think I'm incorrect, hold on. No, hold on.
God.
No. You wanted to take a little shot at me, so that's cool.
Me?
I'm good with it. No, not you, Harry. Him.
Okay, good. Because I always get blamed for this shit.
You shut up and be quiet. Stop. Stop.
No,
No, Frankie. Now you explain yourself. Who had a bigger impact on this franchise, Ricky Bell or Tom Brady?
On the franchise, Brady did.
Thank you. There you go. I rest
I'm
my
gonna
case.
tell you.
I rest my case. There's nothing else that needs to be said at this point.
It's just his Fox victory tour. He's going to be coming here doing a game, and they're going to go, "Oh, we're falling all over ourselves." In case he's not as good as Greg Olson, and in case he's not, he's going to be okay. I'm kidding.
Guys, you can make all the assumptions you want to, but what I'm trying to tell you is that is what it's all about, making the biggest impact. Did he make a bigger impact than Ricky Bell? Yes. You just said it. So enough of the swiping and well, you're incorrect with your opinion. You just agree with me and my opinion. All right, now you can go ahead.
Wait, no, Tom Brady came in here and got people. He got them to Berkeley Prep during COVID and got all that going on. But Hardy Nickerson taught Derek Brooks and Warren Sapp, John Lynch and Rondé Barber how to be Hall of Fame players. He taught them how to break down NFL film, how to be.
Nobody said anything about Hardy Nickerson. He mentioned Ricky Bell.
Well, I thought the debate was that Tom basically deserves automatically have a victory tour this year.
Well, it's not just victory
curious.
tour, it's the biggest impact, all right? Well, we all admit that he had the biggest impact on this franchise. Yes or no?
Use Jason Light's team to get a 7th ring.
Yes.
Do you think, Peter,
No,
that
I
Hardy
think
Nickerson's
so.
more deserving or Tom Brady over Hardy?
I think definitely Hardy Nickerson should have been in years ago because of the
Right.
impact that he made. But
Is he more
Hey,
deserving than Tom?
But he's not going to be the number one analyst for Fox this year, so it doesn't matter, right, Harry?
should have been put in. Okay, so let me answer the question. He should have been put in years ago because he had a huge impact on this Buccaneer organization. But with that being said, with Brady's impact and being the greatest player of all time, I think he'll get in on just.
And he's going to be here in Week 8 with Fox, so why don't we and we'll have a thing and we'll do a thing.
You're probably right, Ray. But you know what? Ray brings up a great point. I don't think there was a player ever that had as much of an impact on this team than Hardy Nickerson. You're absolutely correct, Ray. I mean, you just named probably some of the best players that ever suit up, and they
Right.
became that great because of one Mr. Hardy Nickerson. I mean, Ray,
And I'll finish it, guys. My battery's going out. Thank you, though, Harry. And I'm kidding with Peter because, yeah, Tom Brady is coming this year, and you want to give him that because Tom Brady is that center of the universe. But good point, though. And again, you know, the fact that Hardy Nickerson was trying to get a winning thing going here from the very moment we signed him as a free agent from the Pittsburgh Steelers, goes from a 3-4 to a 4-3, and then he teaches 4 Hall of Famers how to be professionals. So
that's
yeah,
right.
I don't
It
know
was
why
a
he's
3-4
in
to
there.
a 4-3. That's another stating fact because typically players that play in a 3-4 can't ever play in a
Yeah, my
4-3.
Wikipedia page. I could go all night. Let's see. I'm kidding.
No, I'm not
My
kidding.
battery's running out.
It's harder to go from a 3-4 to a 4-3 than a 4-3 to a 3-4. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of difficult to go into a first year offense during what was going on at
Oh
that.
no, I was talking about a defensive
Yeah.
player. Oh, you're still on this Tom Brady thing?
Yeah, I'm still on that. Yeah.
Well, I play defensive line. Trust me, it's hard. When you're
It's
throwing
definitely
that
hard.
3-4 to
It's
a
definitely hard.
4-3,
Does Nickerson belong in there? Does Ricky Bell? I mean, there's a lot of people out there say Ricky Bell. You can make the same case. How many years did Ricky Bell play for the Bucs?
But James Wilder and Ricky Bell he was our first,
Bell
right?
is a bad example.
Well,
Dunn was a better running back for the Bucs than Ricky Bell, but the impact that Ricky Bell had on the Buck franchise and the Tampa Bay community.
so then basically,
That's what I'm
once
talking
again,
about.
you're agreeing with me on the Brady thing because everybody's saying, well, Brady didn't make that much of an impact because he wasn't here that many years, but he made. So if you're going to make the case for Ricky Bell, you can make the case for Tom Brady, right?
This is a kangaroo court.
If we're
Boom.
gonna make
There you
that
go.
case,
Again,
then Hardy Nickerson and Warwick Dunn
I
should
felt-
get in before
I'm
Tom
just
Brady.
a jury.
will you be quiet and shut up? You're just nothing. What the-
I'm just the jury.
In all honesty, if we're really gonna go that route, shouldn't get in before anybody? Because didn't he kind of like buy us that Super Bowl by getting us? Tom
Well,
Brady?
he didn't just buy you the Super Bowl. He also, like Harry said before, built the team up, built the defense up. And if you did have a guy that could not throw in 30 interceptions, you may
Can
have.
I ask the caller a question?
Sure, go for it. Go ahead, Harry. Ask
Just
for-
out of curiosity, just yes or no. Not yes or no. Who deserves to be in the Ring of Honor more? Would that be one Brad Johnson that won a Super Bowl or Tom Brady?
That's not a yes or no.
What do you mean?
Who deserves to be in there more, Tom or Brad?
Honestly, Tom Brady over Brad Johnson.
Thank you.
Okay.
because Tom has all the records, and I guess Ray is about to get off here. So there you go, Ray. You're gone. You're out of here because you've got your battery stuff. He's gone. He's done. I know, Harry, you want to get out of here. Frankie, go ahead. Talk about what you wanted to talk about tonight as I brought you into this debate. Yes.
For you was
yes.
With
It's a good
everything
debate.
that's going on before trade deadline, me being the Cub fan that I am, I gotta ask.
Yeah.
Did he say Cub fan?
He did say Cub fan. You want me to hang up on him?
Oh, please.
You got Mr. White Sox fan over here. One of the worst teams in Major League Baseball, right?
No. The worst team in Major League Baseball, who, by the way, is beating your Cubs.
Rays and have beat the Rays 2 out of
as long
4. Yes.
I like the Sox. I don't like the Brewers.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go. Exactly.
And I
So-
live
Are you
in-
from Chicago by chance?
No, I live in Milwaukee.
Oh. What?
Yeah, exactly. He lives in Milwaukee, but he hates the Brewers.
Are
Yeah.
you a Packer fan by chance?
No, I actually despise the Green Bay Packers.
I like this guy. Leave him on.
See? There you go.
And the best team in all the land is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I
There
believe
you
the
go.
computer.
There you go. All right, Frankie. What else do you want to talk about?
My question is,
Yes.
with everything that I've been hearing, do you think there is the possibility that there will be a trade with the possibility of the Cubs getting Vladimir Guerrero?
I don't know. I mean, right now the Blue Jays are out of it, and they're one of the most disappointing teams in all League Baseball.
I'll answer that question. I don't see the Cubs making that kind of move, honestly, because they're just a team that's just like the Tampa Bay Rays. They got a lot of holes in the bullpen right now. They're not really putting a ton of runs on the board. They're not beating up on teams that they should be beating up on. And honestly, they got a decent starting rotation and they have some sticks, but I don't see them spending that kind of money this year and allocating it all when this team is pot 2 or maybe even 3 years away from even making a severe impact.
You know, my biggest disappointment with the Cubs this year has really been Suzuki.
Okay.
Why is that?
You know, he's just struggled so much. You know, this is a guy that I thought was going to be like, you know, a guy that was going to step in and just going to be like, I don't want to say the Chris Bryant of our World Series team, but kind of like a
this word "our." Please refrain from the word "our" because my skin just crawled. You have to understand, I'm a South Sider through and through.
Listen, Frankie, I didn't think you were going to come on here and talk Cubs baseball.
That's okay.
That's
okay. I'll entertain it.
You could do that. All right. So what else, Frankie? I know you want to call back for Turnbuckle Talk. What else is on your mind tonight?
I'll call back for Turnbuckle Talk, but as far as football season goes,
yes,
I am anxiously waiting.
Okay.
But I gotta ask, you know, I honestly just think Tampa Bay will dominate our division. They're just I honestly just don't think there's going to be any.
Well, hold on a sec. That's not what I wanted to push. I want you guys to hear this because this gentleman, his name is Connor Orr of Sports Illustrated, and last year he was the guy who said the Bucs would have 2 wins. Now the funny thing is, Jason Light confronted him at the combine about it and said, you know, I have receipts for all the people who were saying it, and I remember you saying 2 wins. Now listen, guys, this is what he had to say about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year in 2024. Here we go. Enjoy.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers finished in first place last year, and
despite
and I picked them to win 2 games. They won 7 more than that, and the general manager of the team sought me out publicly to let me know that I was incorrect.
You can do it again.
I'm picking the Saints first. I'm picking the Falcons second.
Ooh.
Picking the Buccaneers third, and I'm picking the Panthers fourth. I'm sorry.
Can I?
There you go.
Eventually, if he continues with the same projection, he'll get it correct. Just like when the Buccaneers went from 2002 So many years later to win a Super Bowl. They're on the do theory. This clown is going to finally get something right. Are you kidding me? Did he really say that?
Yes.
He's got balls the size of basketballs to say that to Jason Light.
After
Are you
Light
serious?
confronted him.
How about, hey, Jason, great job last year. Boy, oh boy, I couldn't pick my own nose today. That's how bad that was. He should have ate humble pie. Instead, he was like, well, I was kind of wrong, but you're still going to finish third this year.
Yeah.
Really?
Really?
Hey,
Right.
I just want to ask this. Can I ask this?
Sure, go for it.
Being a Buccaneer fan,
Yes.
is it just me,
Yes.
or do we get hosed by almost everybody in the freaking
Every
NFL?
year you get hosed besides the Brady year because everybody thought they were going to win the Super Bowl.
Like we got
most
hosed
likely
by
on this
the
show.
referees.
Right.
We get hosed by the office. We get hosed by every single fan base.
Yes.
It's like, dude, get off us, man.
That's what we do, man. We just haters want to be us. I don't know.
Try being a Bear fan.
Well, yeah, the Bear. It's tough to be.
Not this year.
Well,
baby.
We'll see. But the
I
schedule.
don't know. Caleb Williams ain't looking too good, man.
I will
And
say,
what did I tell everybody?
guys,
That was last week. You obviously haven't watched what he's done the past couple of days.
Well, listen, guys, he has also the Hard Knocks curse. There's not been a team that has been on Hard Knocks that's ever made the playoffs. Playoffs. So we'll see.
But you haven't seen what he's. You're correct. What he did last week, but what he has done this week would knock your socks off.
Yes.
But I told everybody going into the draft,
yes,
May was going to be the best quarterback this season.
All right.
This season, he was going to be the best rookie quarterback.
So Caleb Williams is the best rookie quarterback.
No, you said Drake May.
Oh, Drake May. Okay.
Because I don't want to see another
pass.
I don't think Drake May. I don't know about that, man. With New England, I don't know if that's gonna happen. All right, we got to run. We're gonna move on to Tom Banner here. So definitely use that second call.
Boy.
Frankie, appreciate
Good luck.
the hill mark right here. Let's go out to Tom Banner. Also, I believe from Wisconsin, right? Welcome to the Evolution.
Is the wonky guy on this call?
No, I wish.
No, he's not on. No, what do you want, Tom?
No, I just want to know if he put ketchup on his hot dogs.
Can you get off of that? Because that's done.
No,
we've
no,
already killed that
okay.
debate. Let me ask you, Tom. Let me ask you
What
this.
Harry
See,
said-
no.
what Harry said was wrong.
What's that?
He get
Of
roughed
course,
up
Harry's
today.
always wrong.
He get roughed up today in OTAs. But I think the Bears defense is that freaking good.
Oh, they are.
Okay.
They're going to be top. Well, they were top 5 in the second half of the year, but now they're going to be good, man.
Yes,
Well,
they are.
it
I'll
comes
have
down
to agree with you on that.
It comes down to the distractions. Is that a Hard Knocks a distraction? When you heard that as a Bears fan, were you disappointed or were you excited about being featured on Hard Knocks?
I could care less.
Really? There's no.
I can't wait to watch it. And how do you watch this Hard Knocks crap?
Well, you watch it on
It's
HBO.
20 minutes away from me.
I think you watch it on HBO or you watch it through some other streaming platform. Which
Is it on HBO?
I believe it is. Yes. Is it still on HBO?
When do they start this?
It's a couple months from now. It's like
Oh.
it's like right before the football season.
Yeah.
It gets me always pumped. I'm always pumped up to watch it. I don't care who's on.
But why would they call it Hard Knocks?
Because that's what they call it, man. I don't know.
I don't know either.
Hard Knocks.
Do you know where the OTAs are?
Where are
It's
the
a couple
OTAs?
miles from you, isn't it?
Lake
Banner?
Forest.
Oh, Lake Forest.
I wish it was a couple miles. It's like, yeah, that's where Jordan lives. That's where he can't sell his house. Yeah, so that's really Hard Knocks. Yeah,
Who is the original GOAT?
Yes.
surrounded by freaking damn billionaires.
All right. So we had a debate tonight. We had a
Oh, no. You don't want to know.
spirited debate. Do you believe
The
that
Bucs
Tom?
are the worst team, are the most overrated team in the
Oh, shut up.
This guy sucks.
Oh, just shut up.
I
That's
bring
not-
all the good ones to the show.
That's not it at all. What
My milkshake brings all my boys to the yard, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you sing? I have no idea.
Shut up!
Nobody
Peter
wants to
Griffin,
hear
man.
you say, yeah. Well, here's Peter Griffin. Here you go. Here's Peter Griffin.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
I'm going off the suck right there!
There you go. All right. The debate for the night was, does Tom Brady belong in the Ring of Honor?
The Ring of Honor for who?
For the
That's
Bucs.
what I said. The Bucs.
For the
Of course he
Bucs.
does.
Of course he does.
He belongs
See?
in the Ring of Honor for New England. He belongs in Ring of Honor. It's just like Brett Favre. Does he belong in Minnesota? Yes.
Yes.
Of course he does. Yeah, that's
Okay.
Thank you.
Why?
That's a no-brainer question.
All right. Since Tom Banner said he belongs there, I will get off my soapbox.
Oh, look, it's 5-5 there, Harry. Oh,
Look at that. All right, that's what you get, Harry. All right.
Yeah.
There's a bullpen trouble in the boys down over there.
Yeah. Be quiet there, ass hat.
Yes.
Hey, just do me a favor. Go stand out on the middle of Michigan Avenue, have a couple of beers, and go do an Irish jig, would you?
Tom, are
In
you
a
still
kilt.
there? Okay, I guess he's gone. All right,
He's
Harry.
going to do the jig.
All right, go ahead. I know you got to get out of here. It's past your cure.
Yeah, I'm missing the best part of the game. The White Sox usually lead 2/3 of the game, and
Okay.
then they pull a Rays. They lose it with their bullpen.
Oh, man, why all the Rays? Why all the Rays hatred tonight from you? Just for that, this is what
Because
you
I'm so pissed. I'm pissed because the two teams I like to root for. The two teams I like to root for suck.
Well, that's your problem right now. Basically, all of Chicago's sports kind of sucks, doesn't it? I mean, the Bulls are not good. The Blackhawks are not good, although they're up and coming with Bedard there.
I just said my two baseball teams I like to root for suck.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say. But anyway, you can catch me live here Monday and Wednesday nights. We will be talking this Monday. And if Tom Brady deserves to be in the Ring of Honor again with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Oh, yes, we will. Because I, my friend, will make sure I bring it up every single show as long as you have that stupid button with that. Let's go!
What's worse, that soundbite or Ray sound tonight at the bar?
I
That's
don't know.
good enough to suck right there.
Anyway, for all you people that didn't know that Peter's birthday sometime in October, just ask him.
You forgot the
10-3.
There you
go.
go. 10-3. And whose birthday is that, by the way, who's going into the Tampa Bay Sports Hall of Fame, which our buddy JP Peterson is hosting tonight? Bruce Arians.
Oh, it's BA, my other buddy.
Yeah, BA. Yeah, 10-3. Birthday's 10-3. There you go.
Anyway, have a really good night, Peter. Can't wait to hear you when I'm
listen, we gotta get together. We gotta have some. Oh, why not? Well, why not Dick the Bruiser? Why not Dusty Rhodes? We're not going to talk about anything.
Who's doing it with you, Ralph?
Ralph.
I might actually listen now.
All right, sounds good, man. Appreciate you.
He looks like one of those wrestlers.
He does, man. He's the bodyguard of the Berg, and we got Portillo's on deck here. You owe me Portillo's.
Portillo's, yes, to you. Portillo's.
I didn't say Portillo's. I said
But
Portillo.
in the beginning, you used to call it Portillo's.
You just want to keep on, don't you? You want to keep on.
Hey, deuces, much love, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Hope you guys were entertained this evening.
Hold
Yes,
on.
sir.
I want to share this with you. You ready? Here it
I
comes.
swear to God, Pete.
That's good enough to suck right there.
That was about as infuriating and as clown as that idiot that's said that the Buccaneers were going to finish third in the division. Anyway, deuces, everybody. Have a good night. Thanks for having me on.
All right. It's great stuff there, Harry the Greek, putting up with my nonsense. We debate. We really do. We debated about this. You can. It wasn't what I planned for, but we ran with it. I know Leo was kind of upset with my thought process, but that's what we do here on the Sports Web. I want to go out to TikTok because we're live there. For love, Nick TikTok, Smile Peter, thank you very much for tuning in.
Oh, yeah.
And then Face Card Valid sent a rose. Appreciate the rose there. Thank you very much. As we're live on TikTok, Instagram Live, see if there's any comments there. Not so much. So let's go ahead and get out to it. This right here, the Devin Tompkins situation, again, allegations. His girlfriend came out, or his wife to be, showed marks, and how Devin Tompkins beat her up and there was some physical abuse. Again, all allegations, but it does seem kind of fishy that Tompkins was released. Does not look good at all. Not a good optic if it is true. And again, we don't know the two sides of the story, but it's definitely not a good optic at this point. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Now, Mike, the Who Dat Nation is jumping on the low-hanging fruit story about Brady paying the offensive line to protect him on 10 to 15-yard screen. Who cares? The New Orleans Saints are all about what? Bounty Gate. So now they're going to criticize Tom Brady. I mean, that whole thing is just all nonsense at the end of the day. Christopher Cole, hey, everyone, what's going on? Christopher, as always, no Brady in the Ring of Honor to the guys that played here 5 years or more. Well, okay. But I will say this, who has all the passing records in Tampa Bay history and who's made one of the biggest impacts, if not the biggest impact, in the shortest amount of time than Tom Brady. Just saying. Let's go out to Roger. Brady doesn't belong in the Ring of Honor, says a Chicago Bears fan who thought the Bears were going to win the division and win the Super Bowl with Justin Fields. So there you go. Christopher Cole, heck, Hardy Nickerson deserves to be in the Ring of Honor. I don't disagree with you, but once again, I think it's going to be Brady who's going to be the next one that they tab in the Ring of Honor. Peter's bringing the nonsense about Brady. Well, Tribal Troll.
Acknowledge me.
You always bring the nonsense.
That's clearing up the suck right there.
Let's go out to Christopher Cole here, and the first team to win a championship in their own house. Thank you very much. Let the truth set you free. Is anything bigger than that? It wasn't the Rams. I know the Rams did it, but they were the second one, the first team in NFL history to win a Super Bowl in their own house was who? Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
How about them Bucs, baby?
Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's what fanboys do, I guess. Whatever. Thanks a lot, Leo. Harry is muted. Yeah, I don't know. Harry and Leo speaking truth. Listen, Peter. I'm listening. I'm listening to them. Zach Mitchell, I think just because of his name and the facts he came to our team and won us a Super Bowl should be enough for him to be in the Ring of Honor despite him being there for a short time. Zach, that's why you're one of my favorite webheads on this show. Love you, brother. We're definitely got to hang out here soon. Old was decent enough to win if he stood in there and let it go. Tim says, what's up, fellas? What's going on, Tim?
Ooh, yeah.
Let's go out to Mr. Tom Banner talking about ketchup and mustard and all the sauces. He's always bringing the sauce here, always has the sauce. Ketchup on egg rolls, Pete and Harold the Greek. Pete would put ketchup on baklava. No, I wouldn't. He'd slobber ketchup on a Black Angus filet mignon. No. Tom says the Cubs are the only team who can make the World Series. White Sox look good. And John says, what's up, guys? Go, Cubs, go. Thanks a lot for tuning in.
Yeah.
As always, as we're about to go with turnbuckle talk here in just a little bit, Ralph, I know you want to get on. Really quick, though, I want to play this interview that we had today on the JP Peterson show. So we'll hold off on turnbuckle talk. Ralph, hold up. We'll go ahead and get to that. But let's get to this interview where I asked Scott Reynolds on the JP Peterson show about the Chris Godwin situation. And then we will come back with turnbuckle talk, all your professional wrestling news, WWE, AEW. And, of course, as always, your phone calls, 727-255-0391 and 727-255-0391. So here is the Godwin talk here from Scott Reynolds on the JP Peterson show from Pewter Report. Packers, Chris Godwin, not necessarily a focal point of that offense last year, only 2 touchdowns, now going back to the slot. Scott, how do you think this situation is going to play out for him?
Yeah, I mean, Jason Light has been a very patient general manager. The only time he's really done kind of a proactive contract extension was Vita Vea, where they picked up his 5th-year option, and which would have been the 2022 season. But instead, they signed him to a contract extension in December of 2021, right before Christmas, kind of surprised everybody, right? Otherwise, he's been kind of a wait and see guy. You've seen that in the 1-year prove it deals with Baker Mayfield and Shaq Barrett. They even franchised Shaq Barrett, right, to make him prove that he could be, a high performing pass rusher and sack guy again. And you've seen that by making Mike Evans wait and play out his contract year, and Devin White with the 5th-year option, and Winfield in a contract year last year. So I think the patience has kind of paid off a little bit. Sometimes it's cost the Buccaneers a little bit more. You look at that Winfield contract for sure, but at the same time, you're gonna know what you're gonna pay for, right? Mike Evans in year 30 balled out and showed everybody that, hey, I'm still an elite wide receiver in this league, and I think that served both Mike and the team well, right? Mm-hmm. And I think the same thing's going to happen with Chris Godwin. He's back in the slot. We had Jason Light on our podcast, and he's very excited to see Chris back in the slot.
Yep.
And these are good problems to have when you have players in contract years that are balling out, putting up massive numbers, helping your team win, get to the postseason, do some damage there. That's a good thing, right? That's where you want to pay players. You want them to force you to pay them. And I'll say this about Godwin. He has a unique skill set, a unique ability in the slot to just find those open holes and zones. It's a great feel that he has. And you look at the matchups. Can Chris Godwin win outside one-on-one in year 28? Not the way he used to. But, man, you put him in the slot against a nickel corner, against a linebacker, against a safety that's been walked down in the box. Mm-hmm. And that's mismatches galore that favor Godwin. And so I think you're going to see the touchdown production go up a little bit this year for Godwin. That's what the team wants to see. It's gone from 9 touchdowns in 2019 to 7 to 5 to 3 to 2. I think you can pencil him in for 5 touchdowns this year, and that's a nice little boost. Mike Evans is 6'5". He's going to be the touchdown producer that your 6-foot quarterback's going to find.
Of course. And if you go back and look at some tape from last year, which of course we all watch on this show, there are many instances where Chris was open for touchdowns.
Yep.
And Baker said, well, he's open too, the big guy over here.
Right.
So, so it's sometimes it just works out that way. Yeah. It's not like Chris can't get open, is not getting open, or is not, it's just sometimes there's a better option
in the slot more often than he did outside.
I agree.
And I think Baker's going to see that. He's seeing it now in OTAs. He's going to see it more in training camp. He's going to see it more in the preseason. And you're going to see Chris Godwin have a 4th straight season of 1,000 yards, barring injury. And it's so easy. And I've even kind of been guilty of it too a little bit. It's like you look at this on paper like you're playing franchise mode in Madden, right?
Right.
And you're like, okay, Chris Godwin will be 29 next year. We just drafted Jalen McMillan. He is much cheaper, right? And it's kind of a robotic type of thing. When you're looking at it on paper, it makes sense. Move on from Chris Godwin, elevate Jalen McMillan. Trey Palmer is, wide receiver 3 now, where you've got McMillan at number 2, or maybe it's vice versa. Then Chris Godwin comes to the podium like he did 2 weeks ago, and he talks about being out there every day. And no knock towards Mike Evans, but that's not Mike's bag. Mike works out on his own and comes in OTAs every once in a while.
Mike was there yesterday.
Chris Godwin's always there every single day, helping the young guys, helping guys that he knows are in line to possibly replace him and cost him his job. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't matter. He is the ultimate team guy, just like Evans. It is one thing to have one really selfless, non-diva wide receiver on your team. It's a 1,000-yard guy. It is a rarity that happens on the same team with 2 guys. And that's just how it is with Mike and Chris. And kudos to Jason Light. He's drafted not just the best wide receiver in franchise history, but the second best wide receiver in franchise history. I think Godwin's in for a big year. And I think that they're inclined to look at the totality of Chris Godwin and say, if you can do it this year at age 28, how about a 2-year extension for 29 and age 30? And then we'll reevaluate that. And I think that he's going to do it, again, barring injury.
All right, that was Scott Reynolds there on the JP Peterson Show, which once again can be seen and heard here on Facebook and YouTube every day from 10 a.m. to noon. Of course, I'm on there Wednesday mornings talking to Scott, talking to JP. Let's get out to this guy right here. I'm raring to go. I'm raring to talk some wrestling here on Turnbuckle Talk. Let's go out to Mr. Ralph Williams, the bodyguard of the Berg. What's going on, buddy? Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television. And I got to start out here because it has been the debate of the night, if you will, a spirited debate where all 3-4 parties are yelling at each other. In your opinion, does Tom Brady deserve to be in the Ring of Honor, yes or no? Welcome to the evolution.
Well, not really. I mean, he was involved in Deflategate. Roger Goodell was a punk, didn't want to do anything more than what he did. Bill Belichick should have been eliminated totally from coaching in the NFL. So should Tom Brady. A lot of different things happened with him. A lot of controversy. I don't think he should get anything in my eyes.
Wow. All right. Strong comments there. I would say definitely
Nothing.
deserves to be in the not only the Hall of Fame, but the Bucs Ring of Honor for the impact that he made and the few years that he played for the Bucs. So we'll just move on.
Okay. I'll tell you what, Peter. I'll give you a little bit of a leeway here. If it's in Tampa Bay's, that's fine. If it was in New England's, no. Okay.
I definitely think it belongs in their ring.
Yeah. But he deserves nothing in my eyes, totally, really.
All right. So let's go out to the phone lines here. I believe this is Frankie calling back here on Turnbuckle Talk, leading it off. What's on your mind tonight, man? Welcome. You're on with yours truly, along with the bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams.
How's it going? I wanted to rebuttal here real quick because you had some Buccaneer talk going, and I wanted to rebuttal.
Sure.
Because you, of all people, know me. You know how much I hated Tom Brady when he first came over here to Tampa Bay.
Sure.
I didn't want him here. I thought the man was the biggest.
Which is crazy.
I didn't want him here. I thought he was the biggest cheater. I thought he was the scumbag. Didn't want him. And let me tell you something there, man. I watched this man play every single game he put on that red imputer. I never seen him cheat, not once. I'm telling you, in my honest opinion, I think anything that happened with the cheating scandals that would involve Tom Brady, I think that was all Belichick. That's just me. On the Turnbuckle Talk, man.
Yes.
I just wanted to put my 2 cents out there as, dude, hey, this guy hated Tom Brady. I don't hate the man anymore. I respect the man. I just respect him. The man's the GOAT, okay?
Yeah.
Anyway, I just want to say I am so excited for Battleground.
What are you excited about Battleground? What are you excited about?
We are going to have the women's North American title.
Right.
Now, a lot of fans, this is my own personal opinion.
Sure.
A lot of fans, and this is because of Tony Khan and AEW. A lot of people are like, the market's overflooded with the titles. And we had this discussion last week, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so excited to see this. And I think this match, the ladder match, is just going to be just freaking epic with the athletes that we're going to have in there. I mean, Sol Ruka is she's just going to put on a clinic. And Fallon Henley, I'm a huge fan of Fallon Henley.
Okay.
And then, but the match that I'm most anxiously waiting for is Jordan Grace.
Well, Jordan Grace coming over from
yeah.
and now with NXT. Ralph, what did you think about that? Kind of surprised because it certainly seems like, in the past, seems like there was never this crossover.
No.
And now there is going to be a crossover between NXT and TNA. First, what did you think of that? And then the appearance of Jordan Grace and how impressive she's been ever since she's came to the WWE.
Well, Jordan Grace is a good athlete, Peter and Frankie. They have they have some great athletes there, and even the ones that come over from other wrestling organizations such as TNA.
Oh, yeah.
TNA needs this. TNA needs this because they have now, Nick Nemetz there. They have, Mustafa Ali there now. So the momentum's picking up with guys who get cut from WWE, could go to TNA Impact, or they can go to AEW. But a lot of them are choosing Impact, just like Naomi. She went there. Look at what she did. So I mean, it's nice to see these two things, and I'd like to see, just like what AEW has done with this, Forbidden Door, have like WWE versus TNA, and have somebody like Nick Nemeth going up against, LA Knight or something. I mean, I'm just using that as an example, but that would be beautiful.
Yeah, because both of them wrestled in both organizations. Yeah, go ahead.
Or Cody Rhodes go up against Moose.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Something like that.
Which has also been talked about because Jordan Grace was talking about this and how Moose was saying, tell me about WWE. And eventually, look, that's what every wrestler, whether you like TNA, whether you like AEW, they aspire to go to WWE. So when you're doing some type of crossover, and I'm hoping Triple H takes advantage of this NXT and this TNA crossover, because it's good for wrestling. It's good for wrestling fans because you can put together these dream matches.
And Peter, what a lot of wrestling fans, today wrestling fans don't know, is that TNA is not this backdoor company that just that came up out of nowhere. TNA has been around for 20 years. TNA has brought people in this industry like Jay Lethal, like AJ Styles.
Yeah.
Christian Cage walked through.
Samoa Joe. I can name you a few guys.
Thank you, Samoa Joe.
Christopher Daniels.
Yep.
Christopher Daniels. Hulk Hogan.
Kazarian.
Eli Drake. Yeah,
Eli Drake. Yeah, LA Knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
Idiot. Velvet Sky. You had the beautiful people. But TNA I think it was
Gail Kim.
For a few months, they were going head to head with WWE when Hulk Hogan came over there, and it was that night they did live TV, and I can't remember the exact date, but I can tell you exactly what happened. They did live TV. Hulk Hogan was on the show.
Yep.
And they ended the show with Jeff Hardy sitting on top of the steel cage. And everybody was like, what the,
Sure.
Like, oh, Jeff Hardy's back in TNA.
Yep.
And then all the WWE fans were like, oh my God, what's happening?
Well,
I like the six-sided ring. I wish they would have kept the six-sided ring. I like that. I thought that was different.
That was unique to them, and you're exactly right. They brought in all these WWE, WCW guys to try to have the Monday Night War, but it just didn't match up. The guys were just too old.
The problem with the six-sided ring is you had guys that they were bringing in some of the guys like Kurt Angle that were like, dude, they couldn't adapt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so when you're trying to bring in those guys like Kurt Angle or a Hulk Hogan or a Ric Flair and be like, okay, now you got a six-sided ring.
Yeah.
Do some of your moves. And they're like, dude, how do you want me to do this?
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Well, Dixie Carter had no idea how to run a company. She's like Tony Khan. Tony Khan has no idea how to run this company because wrestling wise, and neither did So
hey, the one thing I
Dixie Carter
gave us was EC3. So hey,
Yeah. Well, I'm going to be meeting EC3 this week or this month coming up. Yeah, in Indiana, PA. There's a independent wrestling company that I'm friends with the owner, and I'm going to be there. It's called Revolution. It's going to be in Indiana, PA, at the S&T Bank Arena, and EC3 will be fighting, and he is the NWA champion.
He is.
So I'll send you some pictures, Peter.
Yeah, maybe you try to get him on Turnbuckle Talk.
Yes.
Hold on, Frankie. Hold on. Maybe you try to get him on Turnbuckle Talk sometime. We have him on here.
Absolutely.
All right. What else, Frankie?
No, I was gonna say EC3. That's like one of my all-time favorite guys. I love what he can do in the ring, but more importantly, what he does for the industry, what he can provide on the mic. His mic skills and his charisma are just phenomenal. One of the guys, one of my all-time favorite guys, and people look at me really weird and go, really? But one of my all-time favorite guys is The Miz, and people look at me and go, really, The Miz? dude, he's a 2-time, Grand Slam champion there, man.
Yep.
Like, come on. The man's a workhorse.
Yep.
Yes, he is.
Phenomenal. He can do a heel. He can do a baby face. He's everything.
He's definitely in the conversation of probably being in the Hall of Fame one of these days. That's for sure.
He will be in the Hall of Fame one of these days.
Yep.
Oh yeah, he will. Absolutely.
You got to get the belts off of R-Truth and him.
Oh yeah, their act is okay, but their act is not good with the belts. It's that simple.
It's not.
Who would you drop the belts to, though?
I don't know. That's the thing about tag team wrestling and WWE. You really don't have a division. I mean, can you think of any? If you're going to think of anybody, if you really want to put the belts on somebody, it would be AOP, right?
I was just going to say AOP, Peter. You took the thunder out of my
I mean, because look, if you're trying to build them back up again as this heel faction, and you're trying to put them over with the crowd and make them look unbelievable and make them look strong,
right.
then that's how you do it. And how you do it is you would.
I would definitely agree with you there.
Okay.
But honestly, I'm just really anxious to see how. I'm anxiously waiting for the bitch slap around the world from Rhea to either Liv or Dom. I can't wait for that. That's gonna happen.
Well, we're definitely, Frankie. We're gonna get into that, man. I appreciate the call as always. We'll definitely talk about that right now. We'll start out with that because, of course, Liv kissed Dominic.
Yeah.
And then she was coming on to him and seducing him. I mean, how do you think this storyline is going to play out? Because we heard from Bully Ray last week on Busted Open Radio how he says this is pure soap opera. This is definitely going to work out. It's going to be a long-term storyline. And right now, it is must-see TV. And it's kind of weird to say that because Dominic is a heel, but he was laughing about it. Liv's trying to seduce him. And then the big payoff eventually with Rhea Ripley coming back from injury. So what do you think of this whole storyline in general?
I think it's a drama storyline. It's a Young and the Restless kind of thing, like a soap opera. And this is a male soap opera, Peter, whether anyone likes it or not, because you got drama, you got action, you got, it's like, the male soap opera of the world is professional wrestling. And WWE is good at doing that. That is what their specialty is, this kind of drama. And you know what? Hey, it's great drama to watch. It's funny. It's interesting. And it's going to lead to a Rhea Ripley match against Liv Morgan. And I'd like to see Rhea slap her upside the head. I really would. I was never a Rhea Ripley fan until now.
Well, I love this because we got callers calling up here on Turnbuckle Talk. Let's go out to Curtis using his second call.
Hey,
the Turnbuckle Talk. You're on with yours truly,
Curtis,
bodyguard of the Berg, Mr. Ralph Williams. Yes.
What's up, fellas?
What's up, man?
Hey, how you doing, Curtis? What's going on, man?
It's another beautiful day, man.
I know, man. In Pittsburgh here, it's raining like crazy, but we'll say it's a beautiful day. So.
Is it? Yeah. Hey, you know what? I know we're on wrestling, but what are you gonna do with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields up there, man? What are you gonna do?
Well, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. Russell Wilson's going to be the starting quarterback. Justin Fields is going to back him up. But the good news about this is if Russell Wilson gets hurt or if he's having bad games, Mike Tomlin has an option to put Justin Fields in. And don't forget, we also have Kyle Allen as our third-string quarterback. Kyle Allen's no slouch. He played up in Buffalo with Josh Allen, backed him up and won games. So we have a great quarterback room this year, Curtis.
Well, and then there's talk of using Fields on punt returns. I don't know.
No, that's not going to happen. No, that's not. No, we got that guy from Atlanta that we brought in, that running back. He's going to do it.
You know what? I'm going to tell you what it's going to look like, Peter. Remember when Philly had McNabb and Vic?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's going to look like.
So you think?
Well, Arthur Smith has already said that there might be times when you're going to see Justin Fields and Russell Wilson in the same backfield. Or on the field at the same time.
You gotta remember, when Fields hits the open field, who can catch this guy?
Right, exactly. The Chicago Bears, man, I got to tell you, that organization has just totally been unorganized and it's a terrible organization, really bad. And when you're picking in the top 5 every year, guys, you have to understand that's how bad your team is. And I'm glad he got out of that. And now he's here in Pittsburgh, and I'm glad he's here.
Well, be careful now, because here he's watching. He said he was.
I know he is.
Ain't nobody afraid of Harry. He ain't no Greek god, man. Ain't nobody afraid of that guy, man. What's wrong with that?
Hey, you know what? You know what, Curtis and Peter? You know me better. I tell it like it is, and I tell it the way I see it. In Chicago, they got to do something with the management there. It's horrible. They gotta fix a whole lot of things before that team will ever get back where it needs to be. And it's really sad,
Chicago took over for the Lions as the dumpster fire of that division.
Yeah, exactly. You're exactly right, Curtis. And let me tell you this: Papa Bear Hallis is rolling over in his grave.
Well, we'll see, gentlemen. We'll see what they do with Caleb Williams. And I know there's high expectations, and they have done a better job as an organization building around that young man.
Yeah.
Now, I know you don't want to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Let's get to wrestling.
Let's get to
let's get to wrestling here.
Who cares about living?
Someday Peter will have me come on with the rest of the guys here. We'll talk sports, but that's fine.
Hey, you're always welcome, Ralph. Come on now.
I know.
I don't care about living, Dominic. I think that is just a way.
You don't
for
care
us to
about
be-
that? You're not interested in that? How that works out at all?
No,
How do you think it works out, Curtis?
Listen, I think they're going to end up together.
Okay.
And they're going to end up together, and then Rhea is going to come back, and we've seen this storyline before, and blah blah blah. It's going to be
blah blah blah.
All kind of it's going to be all kind of tension between Rhea and Liv, and they're going to go.
Yeah. Judgment Day too. Don't forget she's involved in Judgment Day. And there's all kinds of drama going on in there right now.
Well, I think Judgment Day is going to break up eventually.
Yeah.
Of course, they have a monster problem right now. So
yes, they do.
Well, the monster problem they have right now is they have two boobs who can't do anything, and Finn Balor and JD McDonough.
I used to be the biggest Finn Balor fan.
So was I.
They just don't know what to do with that guy.
Well, here's what you do with them. Here's what you do with Finn Balor. Here's my suggestion. I think it will happen. Once Damian Priest leaves Judgment Day and Rhea Ripley leaves, you make Finn Balor the leader of Judgment Day somehow. I think that's what happens. Or you don't have a Judgment Day at all. I don't know if you have one.
Yeah, I think you're right, Peter. I agree with you on that one.
Better champion than Damian.
I think so. I think so too.
My prediction for we got Crash at the Castle this Saturday. Clash at the Castle, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it this Saturday or is it next Saturday?
Next Saturday.
Next Saturday.
Next Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah, because this weekend is the NXT pay-per-view.
Yep.
So
my prediction is that Damian Priest loses.
I think Damian Priest does too. I don't know what's been more underwhelming, his title defense or Cody's. And I get it, you put the belt on Cody and everybody's happy.
You put the belt on Cody because you had to take it off of Roman,
right?
And you basically are just showcasing a new era in WWE with Cody,
right? But
new era.
Has it been somewhat underwhelming to you after?
Yeah, but that's because he doesn't have a challenger that we want to see. The AJ Styles storyline sucks. I'm sorry.
AJ Styles fake retirement deal. You don't like that?
No, it was hilarious. But I've seen it before. Remember, Mark Henry did it to John Cena. So many people have done that bit. Like, give me something else.
Actually, I thought Logan Paul match was very good. So
yes, it was.
Honestly, take that back.
But give me some new people with some new opportunities. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm tired of seeing the same old guys over and over again.
I want to see. Here's what I want to see. I want to see what Gunther's going to do. I think he's going to be a champion sooner or later. I don't care who has the belt.
What title is he fighting for?
He's going to go for the world title. He has a number one contender shot. He's king of the ring.
Yeah, he's going to win it too.
Yes, he is. I think he's going to be a world champ somewhere. In this company.
He's fighting for Priest's title at SummerSlam. Right?
Yes, yes. Whoever has the title at SummerSlam gets a match with Gunther.
My issue with that is I would have loved to see Drew McIntyre win, and then I would have loved to see Punk versus Priest. Punk versus McIntyre.
Correct.
At SummerSlam.
Correct.
Yeah, that would have been a good one.
I still think you're going to get that.
My name's Drew.
The only way we get that is if Gunther gets hurt. Unless they make it a triple threat.
Hey, I wouldn't doubt that, Curtis. That could be a triple threat match. That just could happen. You never know.
Yeah, I see them more focusing on going with Drew McIntyre and CM Punk. Money. What are you crying about? What are you crying?
I'm crying because Drew's a crybaby. Should have never teased CM Punk. Should have took his belt and walked away. Yeah. It's everybody else's fault but mine.
I'm ready to see when the new bloodline blows up with the old bloodline.
There's going to be a civil war coming up, Curtis, and I think it's going to be a Survivor Series. It's going to be Roman. The stories I'm hearing, it's going to be Roman and the Usos and Rikishi versus the bloodline with one more person, the current bloodline with one more person for a War Games.
I'll tell you, it's going to be. It's not going to be Rikishi.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Rikishi. I think it's going to be this.
We know The Rock will be in it.
It's going to be Roman Reigns with the Usos, and don't be surprised if Sami Zayn is the guy that tags up with them again.
That could happen, yeah, because he has a good rapport with the Usos and with Roman Reigns, yeah.
Against the new bloodline and The Rock.
Yeah, I could see that, and that's must see TV.
I think it's gonna all boil over at SummerSlam.
It may, or
No,
it's going to be Survivor Series for War Games. That's where it's going to be.
That's fine. That's fine. But what I'm saying is it's going to hit the fan at SummerSlam. Because Roman, the prediction was Roman's going to be back in July or August. That was the predictions late.
SummerSlam, yeah. I heard that too.
I still wonder what they're going to do with The Rock and Cody, because I think there's a storyline there also. The final boss.
I mean, I can see Cody and The Rock at WrestleMania next year.
Certainly possible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
because you know why? The Rock's got to take care of bloodline business before he moves to Cody Rhodes.
Absolutely. Well, he wants Cody bad, but that's definitely going to happen.
Unless he turns on Roman.
Plus, you have to remember, at WrestleMania Night 1, The Rock pinned Cody.
He did. You're exactly
right.
He did. He's technically still, which I think is great, the final boss. It's funny. I was watching some highlights of some old video games the other day. I don't know if you guys remember the video game Streets of Rage.
Of course.
There was a guy at the end of the game that was the final boss.
They did the same thing. He did that before the WrestleMania. They did something like that, a takeoff of that, and that was great. I absolutely remember that kind of stuff. Who doesn't remember that kind of video game stuff? So when he said the final boss, I was like, oh, okay, the final
boss. Yeah.
Look at you.
I'm gonna say this right now. I feel like wrestling. They are finding out exactly what direction they need to go in.
Right.
It's for me. I'm not gonna lie. Monday and Friday are both kind of dry right now, but I think they are trying to figure out what direction that they want to go in the right way, so they don't make the same mistakes that they made before.
Yeah, that could be, Curtis. You're right on that one, because Triple H is running the show now, and it's going in different directions and different circles, and sooner or later it's going to come together. You got to give Triple H an opportunity, which I wish that Vince McMahon would have kept him in charge and not play all kinds of games when he came back and ran it into the ground a little bit, and got pissed off all the stockholders. So now you got TKO in here, and you got Triple H running it now. So it should be. I think it's going to be spectacular here. Triple H has got a lot on his mind, and he's good at what he does. Nick Aldis is and Pierce is the general managers. It's great. We're back to that format.
I was listening to what you guys were saying about the Miz and Truth. They're going to take the titles from them, but I'm going to tell you something. I think the tag team division was better when there was one set of titles. Like when the Usos had all the titles.
Yeah.
I thought the division was better because I'm sorry, I think the women's tag team division is great with just one set of titles.
Well, it is, but the tag team overall, the tag team division. I mean, who else besides AOP can you think of anybody else? I mean, the Creed brothers, and I think eventually the Creed brothers are going to get with Chad Gable there. And
you mean the Olympic stuff they do there? Yeah, I know what you mean.
You mean Kurt Angle 2.5?
I'm telling you. I mean,
it could happen.
He's so good. He's so good in the ring. He's good on the mic. And by the way, he's coming up and being a free agent. So we're going to get to that in a moment. What the deal with that is, but he's actually.
My question is, what's going to happen to Otis? I think he's a lost soul swimming in a fishbowl.
No,
I mean, he has no idea what he wants to do. So, I mean, Otis got to figure something out.
This is how you play this, and Curtis, you can comment on it, but you could see the reaction for Otis that eventually he's going to turn on Gable, and they're going to have a hell of a match because Otis definitely is over with the crowd, and you can see the reaction and how excited they were. He's definitely a babyface. At this point, though,
of course,
he's not going to cross Gable, but eventually the payoff is he is going to cross Gable. They're going to have a hell of a match, and it's going to be good for both of their careers. But listen, how much did they fumble this guy's talent in Gable? I mean,
they did.
He could be the next Kurt Angle with his wrestling skill, but on top of it, he's great on the mic. He really is. He does a good job.
Well, you gotta remember, man. Vince, he promoted what he wanted to when he wanted. I mean,
Shorty, whatever he was calling him at the time.
Let's say this, okay?
Yeah.
For years, no matter, and I'm gonna go back to the John Cena area.
Sure.
The John Cena era. For years, it was John Cena. He was the measuring stick.
Yeah.
I mean, you had Batista and you had JBL. The Undertaker was still wrestling and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right.
The guy was John Cena, and like nobody could touch this guy.
No.
I personally think they fumbled with Daniel Bryan before anything else because everybody loved the Daniel. You couldn't hate Daniel Bryan.
No.
You couldn't. Because this guy just had something in him that you was like, God, I love this guy. Like you just it was just something about him.
Yeah.
Over the years, Curtis, the WWE has fumbled with a lot of stuff under Vince McMahon. And the older Vince McMahon got, the more he tried to do some stupid things. And it just seems like now Triple H has got to clean up his mess. And he's doing a good job of it. Braun Strowman's back. I like Braun Strowman.
I listen, as much as I love Roman and as much as I love Seth, I was a huge Dean Ambrose guy. I love Dean Ambrose.
I did too.
He just
he's doing good at AEW. He's doing great down there.
His own, when he was in the fights with Brock Lesnar, he was fighting Brock Lesnar when nobody else wanted to fight him.
Yeah.
Nobody else wanted to fight Brock Lesnar. He come to the ring with a shopping cart full of shit and fight Brock Lesnar.
I thought when his music played, when the Shields music played, that he was the one that was coming out, not Seth Rollins.
Yes,
I was surprised by that, but I like the whole storyline. I like the whole storytelling. What WWE is doing right now with Triple H in this Triple H era. This is exactly the way you go. It's long-term storytelling.
Yes.
There's some really good storylines right now. We talked about Dominic and Liv. We also talked about, Chad Gable and the Academy there. And
what do you think about Solo?
I don't know what to make of that storyline because you see Paul the other night, Paul Heyman on SmackDown.
Paul Heyman looks uncomfortable there. He's not. It's not right for him. He likes to be like with Lesnar, Roman Reigns, that kind of thing. CM Punk.
Odd because
I think Solo they're pushing Solo. Solo's not ready.
Right.
He's almost there, but he's not ready yet.
He hasn't wrestled enough, Curtis. That's his big problem.
That's a good point.
And he's not great on the mic. See, Roman was a great wrestler first. Then the mic skills came.
Yeah, yes. I think also you can make the case that when Roman was able to do his own stuff, when it was written for him at first, he was very rough on the mic. So you keep him on the mic and you keep him as a monster. And eventually you work him into it, and hopefully Solo will be able to do that. But you're exactly right. He's not great on the mic. He hasn't had a lot of great matches, so he definitely needs that. But I was watching it the other night with Paul, and he's warning Kevin Owens, like, stay away from this guy. Like, I've never seen Paul like that before. So it's somewhat intriguing where they're going to go with this. And everybody assumes, once again, that Solo is the guy. He's the tribal chief right now. What you're going to find out is The Rock is the one that's calling all the shots. Curtis, thanks a lot for the call. As always, my friend. Yes.
The last thing I want to say is,
yes,
I love Kevin Owens. I really wish they would do something. I really wish they would do something.
He's
more
such
with
an
it.
talent, is he not?
Dude, this guy, man, he deserves a title around his waist.
He does.
Like that whole Logan Paul crap or whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong. Logan Paul is going to bring ratings because he's a YouTuber or whatever he is. But Kevin Owens, this guy, he still got a good 10 years in it.
Sure he does.
Still.
Sure he
Absolutely.
does. Absolutely.
So,
and you're exactly right. He deserves a title around him. He's already over with the crowd. The whole Sami Zayn and him storyline was excellent. He definitely deserves some type of title. Curtis, as always, my friend, thanks a lot for calling Turnbuckle Talk here on the Sports Web. All right. Good stuff, man.
Have a good night, Curtis.
On the phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. As what you're watching right now is Turnbuckle Talk. We're talking WWE, AEW action, professional wrestling here. Yours truly, along with Mr. Ralph Williams, bodyguard of the Berg. Let's talk about that. Dave Meltzer said on Wrestling Observer Radio that he puts the chances of Chad Gable leaving WWE as small, even though he's yet to sign a new deal. He also suggested Gable's booking in the Intercontinental title match at Clash at the Castle could reveal his status going forward. With his status going forward, first and foremost, he's a free agent. There's no way you're going to book a match with him and Sami Zayn and not put the title on him. He's going to be Sami Zayn. He's probably already signed a new deal, and that's the way you got to do it. I love Sami Zayn. I get it. He's over, but Chad Gable has definitely shown me something. And of course, if you want to keep him in the company, I think you got to put the strap on him. What do you say?
Oh, I'd say he's due for it. I mean, he's a good wrestler, as you mentioned. His mic skills are better. Being part of the, the Olympic thing there with the team of Nimwits he's got there, I think don't make him really that great of a part. You know what I mean? I mean, he has to get out of that and go on his own. That's what he has to do. Or get a manager. If you're going to be a heel, get a manager. Get somebody like a Paul Heyman or somebody to, you know what I mean, or whomever. And if he gets Kurt Angle as a manager, that'd be a great thing. Kurt could be out there with him all the time, and that kind of thing. And maybe he could beat Sami Zayn, but I don't see him doing it at Clash of the Castle unless his contract is already signed, as you said. And maybe he may not want to stay here with the WWE because he's been screwed over a couple different times, and his creative stuff hasn't been that great. So I don't know.
But it has been great lately, and
lately it has. Yeah,
they're giving him the opportunity,
right?
That guy, and he's finally getting. And then you walk away and go to AEW or another.
No. Well, that might not happen, but then again, we'll see. I mean, he might sign a contract, might lose to Sami Zayn, might want to go home, spend some time with his family, and then come back like Becky Lynch is doing.
No, they've had too many matches. The big payoff is that Clash at the Castle. You put the belt on him, you give him a new deal, and that's the way you go. Also, Becky Lynch is a free agent. Now, what do you make of this situation? Because the reports are she could possibly join AEW. I don't see that. I think she's going to take some time off with, of course, her husband, Seth Rollins. They haven't had time off in a long time to spend with their new family. Right. What do you say about Lynch?
Oh, that's going to happen. She has a book out right now. My wife just purchased it. And, her book is going to make her some money, and she makes some public appearances and does book signings and, spend some time with your family. Seth is down right now. This is the perfect opportunity for her to do this. And now they have a child and they have to do this. Recharge the battery. She'll be back in the WWE. She'll get a new contract. I don't see the WWE letting her go because if she goes, the women's division is going to be up and at them until Charlotte Flair comes back or something. But I'm waiting to see what happens with her when she comes back.
Yeah, no, I definitely would be interested to see in all the matches they could set up there. Jade
Yes.
Cargill, of course, and
Yeah.
but we've seen some of these matches before, but now you have Jordan Grace coming into the fold there, so there's definitely some excitement in that women's division.
Yeah, you got Naomi back, and she's excited, and then you got Bianca Belair with Jade Cargill. I think sooner or later, I think you're going to see Jade turn on her. I see that happening.
That's also the big payoff, and you
Yeah.
can see that maybe a SummerSlam, maybe you see that eventually at a Royal Rumble or definitely a WrestleMania. Who doesn't want to see that?
Right. We'll see both of them won singles titles. I mean, I don't think Jade Cargill came here for this. I think she came, for a tag team, but she came here to have a singles title like she had in AEW. And I think eventually that's going to happen. It could happen sooner than later.
Yeah, no, you're completely right about that. All right, I want to move on here, and then we'll wrap this up as always. Monday Night Raw, they have a new guy by the name of Braun Breaker, which, by the way, you ever watch him? Listen, I know he's Rick Steiner's son, but it's like he's cut right from Scott Steiner.
Yes. Yeah. He's more of a Scott Steiner. I've seen his wrestling skill and everything. And probably his uncle Scott probably taught him a whole lot more, because I hear Rick now is a school teacher. So, I mean, if Rick Steiner's a school teacher, Scott's the one that's training him. So there you go. You know what I mean? And, I do see that.
He's the mic, and he's definitely got everything you would want for a future champion.
Absolutely.
Reports WWE officials are very happy with the performances Braun Breaker has been putting forth since making his way to Raw. In particular, the company feels Breaker has had strong showings during his backstage segments with Monday Night Raw and GM Adam Pearce. The current storyline is that Pearce is trying to get the newly acquired Red Brand star to control his aggression rather than try to permanently injure his foes. So far, Pearce's words aren't good through or getting through to the badass of WWE. And that's exactly how you have to book him. You have to book him like his uncle. He's unhinged. He's crazy. That's the way you got to book him, because that's the way he was booked in NXT. And by the way, Triple H, once again, going from that NXT, pipeline and making those superstars. You're not just coming to the main roster and being forgotten.
Right.
You've got guys that are being, booked well, and Breaker is one of those guys.
Well, I heard Drew Gulak was released, and that's good, because he wasn't doing much. I'd like to see him maybe go to TNA or one of them other places and do some good. So Drew Gulak has been released.
Well, and not only that, he was released, but there was also the allegations out there about Ronda Rousey. So who knows if any wrestling organization, pardon the pun, is going to even touch him after these allegations have come out. One last thing, and I don't know if you watch this or not. I've got to watch it after, so that's why I'm trying to get off. But Vice had on Who Killed WCW. Of course, it was 24 years ago. This is on the Dark Side of the Ring in collaboration with
I got to watch that one.
Yes,
wow.
in $7 Studios. Of course, the Dark Side of the Ring filmmakers Evan Hunsney and Jason Eisner. I believe I'm pronouncing their name correctly. They talked about this earlier this week on 83 Weeks, which of course is Eric Bischoff's podcast, as he was in charge of WCW, and they ruled back then for 83 Weeks #1 in the ratings over WWF in WCW's glory days. And he said, one person that comes to mind, this might be a prime suspect who killed WCW, because they were doing a special on this, 4-part special, by the way. So I'm going to try to figure out how to watch the first one, and then we'll go from there with the next 3. There might be a prime suspect for who killed WCW as Jamie Kellner, the person who literally and figuratively pulled the plug at the end of the day. Hunsney said he took over at Turner Broadcasting near the end of WCW's run. We reached out to him in hopes of really getting him on board, because he did go on record with Guy Evans' book the first time he ever, I think, spoke publicly about WCW. And unfortunately, he turned us down. And I think he couldn't really understand still at the end of the day why 25 years later, people still want to talk about this. Also, He talked about, and these being the creators of Dark Side of the Ring, which, by the way, you guys do a freaking great job when it comes to wrestling documentaries. I mean, must-see TV. If you're a wrestling fan like I am, Ralph is, people out there of Turnbuckle Talk, you will love Dark Side of the Ring. He talks about The Rock's involvement, which was weird at the end of the day, right? Because The Rock was against them. It was the Monday Night War. Why would he be a part of this? And what they had to say is it just kind of these two perfect things like, well, what about this? Would you guys be interested in doing this doc about sort of the last years of WCW? And $7 was all on board. Vice was all on board. And they were off to the races. We only started filming it in December. So it was a very quick turnaround. Your thoughts on this? In your opinion, after you haven't watched the special, I'm going to watch it. But just before watching it, who do you really think killed WCW? Was it the finger poke of doom with Hogan and Nash? Was it Jeff Jarrett laying down for Hogan? Was it Vince Russo coming there? Or was it Eric Bischoff? Or was it somebody else that we don't talk about? Who killed WCW in your opinion, Ralph?
Vince Russo. They should have never brought him in the first place. Okay. First of all, Bischoff and Hulk Hogan worked really good together. They were friends and everything else. Okay. Then on top of that, okay, you had all these prima donnas down there that you were overpaying for. And then when Turner sold it to AOL didn't want anything to do with wrestling. That was your biggest problem right there. But here's the kicker of them all. Eric Bischoff had investors to come in with him. They were going to buy WCW. Problem is they didn't have a network to put it on. That was the biggest problem. That sale got canceled. Okay. Then Vince McMahon swoops in and takes it over. I think the killer was Vince Russo. Toward the end, the storylines were horrible. Vince Russo as champion. It was just disgusting. I stopped watching it. I thought it was totally ridiculous. And and then when the best thing that could ever happen to them was when Vince McMahon bought it. But I liked the Shane buying it. I thought they were going to have Shane run it as WCW and Vince McMahon, and they go against each other, two different wrestling things. I thought that would have been wonderful to do that.
The story on that is that there was actually a legitimate plan if the match would have went well, because they actually did a segment on Monday Night Raw, and I believe this is in like 2001, where you have, Buff the Stuff Bagwell, Marcus Bagwell versus Booker T. And because the match was not good and the ratings weren't there, because they were actually considering doing WCW as a separate entity because they still had talent. Of course. What didn't work about the Invasion is you didn't have the big guys. You didn't have Ric Flair. You didn't have Goldberg. You didn't have Sting. You didn't have Nash. You didn't have Hogan. You didn't have Hall at the time. They were still under contract and sitting at home. Yeah,
all you had was a bunch of ham and eggers.
Right.
That's all you had.
You had Booker, you had Bagwell, who wasn't very good, who didn't last very long after that match because of the substance abuse and his attitude overall. You had DDP. I just thought, if you could have had everybody stack the deck, like you're talking about TNA and WWE or NXT crossover, what if you had that crossover between WCW and WWF at the time? It
could have had a War Games between the two wrestling companies. It would have been beautiful.
War Games. But the problem is, here is the major problem. It goes back to what, 2015 or 2017, where Sting finally comes in. I think it's 2015.
Yeah.
He comes into the company. He wrestles Triple H. The match is you put Sting over. The reason why you put Sting over is because Triple H has always been over. But the problem is, the booking is WWE is better. It's always going to go over on WCW, which is the main reason why a lot of these superstars, namely Sting, didn't go to WWE in the first place, because he was worried about not only his gimmick, his character, but the whole name of WCW being destroyed in the name of WWE.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Sting stayed in WCW a little longer. He was in TNA for a while. The best thing I liked about Sting was in TNA was Joker Sting. I thought that was his best performance. I really liked him as Joker Sting, and so he didn't fit into the WWE mold, so to speak. A lot of guys look at Lex Luger. Lex Luger didn't do anything in the WWE really, and then he went and moved on. And look at what he did. You see what I'm saying? Before he got in trouble and all that other stuff. So
I agree.
mean,
I completely agree with you on that. I will
and
say,
a lot of creative things too involved, Peter. You don't forget WWE had a whole different creative thing than what WCW was doing. You understand what I'm saying? And then don't forget they competed against each other in the 90s. You had the Attitude Era, Stone Cold Steve Austin going up against McMahon, and you had all kinds of just different. And then WCW did their thing with NWO and all that other stuff. And but the worst thing was Vince Russo. Vince Russo, other than being under Vince McMahon, Vince Russo by himself sucks. And that's the bottom line.
Well, I tell you right now, you could definitely make that case. I think he tried some different things, but it just didn't work out.
No.
And then on top of it, a lot of people felt like Vince actually sent Vince Russo in to destroy that company.
To destroy so he could buy it. Yeah, there were rumors about that. That's
That's a hell of a story. I don't know if that's happening, but you look at it. I mean, when Vince Russo joined, you got Bret Hart. He joined. They couldn't do nothing with him. That was a disaster. Right. I mean, I definitely think Vince Russo is one of the guys that killed it. But you're exactly right. If you find a TV network at that point, and Eric Bischoff is going to do a reset on it, they're going to do a pay-per-view, but they had to stay away for like a month, and it was going to be called WCW's Big Bang.
Yeah,
they were going to reset the whole thing, and they could never find a TV deal.
Right.
Nobody.
Yeah. Well, I thought Shane McMahon was at least either going to go up against his father because he was mad at his father, or Shane McMahon was going to run WCW as a separate entity, like Tony Khan has ROH, but ROH should be running as a separate entity. He has them going on AEW, like he had Briscoe on tonight fighting, with the ROH stuff. He needs to keep that as a separate company. See, this is what I'm saying. Tony Khan has no idea what he's doing. No idea.
Again, I understand what he's trying to do also, but he's too much of a fan of and that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to be a fan of wrestling, but at some point you also have to be a boss about this, or you have to have somebody.
Well, that's like if you ever watch Bar Rescue, when you get these owners that say, "Oh, I'm a fan of the bar business. Oh, I was a big fan or a big customer at that bar." Have no idea how to run a bar. You see what I'm saying? It's the same concept,
It is, my friend. All right, well, let's wrap it up there.
Sure.
Go ahead and give me some final thoughts here on Turnbuckle Talk, my friend.
Final thoughts are: I think the Clash of the Castle is going to be a pretty decent pay-per-view. WWE's pay-per-views have been better than they were before. And I also think AEW's pay-per-views are good too, but they got to cut some of the matches back, make it a little less, like maybe instead of 4 hours, make it 3 or 2 hours. Like WWE does. They only have a select amount of matches. I think their pay-per-views are a little too long, but they do have good ones as well. We're going to find out what this NXT one's going to be like coming up this weekend, and it's going to be exciting. And I'm going to a car cruise this Saturday, and I'm also June 23rd, I will be down in Indiana, PA, at the Revolution matchup for the Allied Powers Wrestling Federation, who is run by my good friend Bubba Brewer and my other good friend Larry Stryker.
Man, you're a busy man. Appreciate you as always.
Yeah, and I still have Sports Corner. We're on Tuesdays 4 to 6 on social media. No more radio for now. Okay, just taking a little, hiatus, and we're back on. And we're back on TV in the Pittsburgh area starting in the next couple of weeks.
Congratulations with all the success, my friend. We'll see you next week here on Turnbuckle Talk. Appreciate the time as always, Ralph.
Sure. Anytime, Peter. All you have to do is ring me up. That's it.
I got you, buddy.
All right.
Good stuff there. So there you go. That's Turnbuckle Talk. Again, updated. Rays win 3 in a row now, 5-3 over the Florida Marlins tonight. So we shall see what they do when they come home and face the Baltimore Orioles. That'll be a big series. And then, of course, the Cubs coming to town, the Chicago Cubs. The big story with the Bucs, Tristan Wirfs is expected, according to Jenna Lane of ESPN, to show up for mandatory minicamp. So Bucs fans, don't worry about that. Tell you what, I don't want to end off on that note because there were some other great questions today from the JP Peterson show. And this one, I believe, I asked Scott Reynolds of Pewter Report, along with JP, about the Tristan Wirfs situation. Here we go. We'll play some of this interview. We'll play the rest of that interview, and then we'll end off for the night on the evolution of sports talk television. Enjoy. All here. Tristan Wirfs, how's that situation going to work out? Some Bucs fans concerned about it. Reports are, of course. I mean, when do you think they get that done? Is it a couple weeks? Is it a month from now? I mean,
before the season.
Yeah, I don't know. It'd be before the season for sure. And I think ideally they want it done before training camp. Now, I mean, I know Jason Licht's going to Machu Picchu and Peru and all that stuff, where he's not going to have cell phone signals. So he wants to get this done before summer break, which effectively is like 2 weeks, right? It's better. You have your next week, you have the mini camp, mandatory mini camp, and then you're gone for about 5 weeks. They want to get it done before then. If for some reason they don't, I would expect Tristan to, hold out of training camp, probably hold in so he doesn't get fined, which means he shows up,
right?
Reports to camp, he's there, but he's just not going to practice. And I think the team is A-okay with that.
Yeah.
It's not like he's making the switch from right tackle to left tackle this season, right? He did that last year.
The less he's on his feet, the better, in my estimation.
I'm with you, man. So here's the thing: both sides want to get this done. So it's just a matter of time, and it's just a matter of finding that sweet spot that both sides can really come to grips with. As I reported on Pewter Report, did a Pewter Pulse video on this. The Penei Sewell deal screwed things up. They were that close to getting it done with Tristan, and as you saw, guys, with Antoine Winfield getting $21.025 million over Jair Alexander, who made $21 million, right, to become the highest paid defensive player or highest paid defensive back, I should say, in the NFL. It's $25,000. That was the amount where he I'm number one now, right? $25,000 more per year than Alexander. Well, the problem is Laramie Tunsil was making $25 million, and all of a sudden it's like they went straight to the triple dog area, right? Yeah, they forgot all the protocol. They went right to the triple dog dare.
Can't do that, man. Can't do that.
From $25 million to $28 million, right? Yeah. And you think, okay, well, it's only $3 million. That's fine. Okay, but $3 million, like you can get Luke Gedeke and Rashad White, both of those players, for just over $3 million. This year in terms of their base salary. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's what $3 million means. I know people think the hundreds of millions of dollars with the salary cap, and it's an absurd amount of money. And I get that, but like, that's what it is. I mean, Grant Martin's going to be making less than $3 million.
It makes a difference.
It makes a difference. And it's not just that, but it's $3 million every year over the life of the deal. So that's like, you sign up for 4 or 5 years, that's $12 or $15 million more. So that's why it makes a little bit of a difference. And then you look into the guaranteed money and the way the contract's structured, and it just threw a monkey wrench in things, and it forced the Bucs to have to kind of recalculate,
reevaluate. Yeah.
And it's not just about this year; it's about the future planning. And nobody does it better than Mike Greenberg, who's going to be in our show on Thursday, by the way, tomorrow.
Nice,
a little plug there. And we'll talk to him about it. But it's what happens in 25 and 26 and 27, the future planning and how the dominoes fall. And the thing to remember is a lot of times when these deals are done, they're staggered, right? So it's like you might have, like Mike Evans, his cap value goes down this year, but then it goes up next year, right? And for longer term deals like Winfield's, a lot of it's more front loaded, and then it kind of decreases a little bit. So Greenberg and Jackie Davidson and Jason Licht, they'll structure deals certain ways to where you might have a kind of a balloon where it kind of maybe goes up in year 2, then it goes down in year 3. So it's all about like a jigsaw puzzle and sliding it together. And that's where that extra $3 million per year can be a little bit more cumbersome.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens, but I'm not worried about it. And I don't think the Bucs
It's getting done. It's just a matter of what the number's going to be. And he's not going to miss any games. He's not going to miss much training camp. I would definitely not
living at the weight room.
Right. Exactly.
At One Buccaneer place. Like, I mean, he's ready to go for training camp right now. He's in great shape. He every time that there's been an event, a press conference at One Buccaneer place, he's always popping in drenched in sweat from the weight room in the back for Baker, for Mike, for, all the press conferences. So it's not like this guy's holding out. It's not like he's been away from the facility. It just, you don't want, if you're Tristan Wirfs, you're only guaranteed, and it sounds crazy, right? I mean, you and I and Peter, we would be fine with $18 million guaranteed, right? But that's all that he's guaranteed right now. And we've seen even during OTAs, because that's really what the first 3 days of training camp are. They're OTAs. There's no pads. It's helmets, shorts, jerseys, and cleats. Yeah. And on the second day of training camp, which is no pads, Ryan Jensen suffered a catastrophic, horrific, career-ending knee injury. Not on purpose, just on accident. But you don't want Tristan Wirfs on the practice field. And he doesn't want to be on the practice field until that new deal is done. Because when he does sign the new deal, he's going to get at least $40 million in guaranteed money, if not 50, if not maybe a little bit more than that. We'll see where it comes in. But that's the difference. He's only guaranteeing $18 million right now. If his career ended, if he stepped out in the field, something catastrophic happened. It sounds crazy. We're talking money that doesn't make sense to us.
Exactly. And that would be a huge hole.
But the difference is 18 million and 40 million or 50 million. It's like double or triple what he's going to be getting. So he has to safeguard his financial future for his family.
All right, so there you go. That was Scott Reynolds on the J.P. Peterson Show talking about the Tristan Wirfs situation. No concern, this deal getting done here in the next couple of weeks. And once it does get done, if it does get done when I'm working from home on a Wednesday, we will definitely go live with all the reaction. If not, we will definitely have a special edition. But I would expect it to get done because, again, it's all about believing in Jason Light and believing in this organization and how they take care of their own players. And if you don't believe that Tristan Wirfs is a big part of the future of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, then I got oceanfront property in Arizona for you, okay? You should definitely believe that. Probably believe that more than what I got oceanfront property in Arizona, okay? Because he is. He's not only one of the top left tackles in the league, he could be the top left tackle in the league. So that's what Scott had to say. And then I also asked Scott today on the JP Peterson Show, which once again, you'll be able to see and hear tomorrow morning from 10 a.m. Right here on Facebook, WATB Sports, all the great platforms out there, YouTube, Twitter. So definitely tune in to that. Asked him about the buzz of rookie Jalen McMillan and, of course, Bucky Irving. And here's what he had to say here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Enjoy. Buzz around the rookies here, McMillan and, of course, Bucky Irving.
Yeah, McMillan
Love me some Bucky.
He's a smooth operator, man. Catches the ball exceptionally well. I think people forget, myself included, he was the leading receiver at Washington in 2022. He had more catches and more touchdowns than Rome Odunze. Odunze had him beat by like maybe 100 yards, but he was a 1,000-yard receiver. And he got injured, missed 4 games, was ineffective for a couple other games with that nagging knee injury. It was a PCL sprain. He came back. And when he came back, he was the guy that had a 100-yard day against Oregon in the Pac-12 championship. He was the guy that caught one of the 2 touchdowns that Michael Penix threw against Texas in the playoff win. He was the guy that caught the only touchdown against Michigan in the national championship game. So the Buccaneers feel like they got a steal with this guy because of the injury. It allowed Jalen Polk's numbers to be elevated. Polk went in the second round. It slid McMillan to the third. But there's just a kind of a Chris Godwin-like vibe you get from this guy. He's so fluid in his routes, knows how to get open, can run every route on the route tree, high points every ball. He attacks the ball in the air. 3rd round pick. I mean,
it's great.
You know, it's like you got Chris Godwin at number 14, right? I mean, Mike Evans is number 13. Chris Godwin's number 14. Jalen McMillan wears number 15. It's like he's the next guy. And now here's the other thing. As good as he's looked, the guy getting rave reviews is Trey Palmer.
Whoa.
Zion McCollum said that. Jason Light said that. Trey Palmer has taken his game to the next level, and competition makes you better. And so there's plenty of room for the ball to find these guys. They're going to be 3 wide receiver sets. So Trey Palmer and Jalen McMillan, both those guys are going to see plenty of playing time. They may split that wide receiver 3 role. One of them might win it, but then the other guy is going to be filling in for Chris when he needs a breather, filling in for Mike when he needs a breather, filling in for the other guy when he needs a breather.
Or an injury.
Or an injury. So both McMillan and Palmer are really showing up. And then Bucky Irving, I'm super excited about the guy.
Explosive. Woo.
Instant acceleration, goes north-south, no hesitation, no like decision making. It's just see hole, run through it. Like it's, I think if anything, he's going to help Rashad White in two areas. Number one, he's going to help him not have to carry all of the burden and all of the load. And I think you're going to see even maybe fewer touches, fewer carries for Rashad White as a result, but more yards because more yards per carry as a result, because he's fresher. He's not having to be that down in, down out workhorse. The other way he's going to help him is if Rashad hasn't gotten that hesitancy, that kind of unneeded patience out of his running style yet, when Bucky's in there and he's hitting the hole super quick, Skip Pete's going to be saying, Rashad, that's how we want it done. Just like that, right? So it's kind of that visual competition. It's all right. I see what you did. Now, when I get back in the huddle, my carries, I'm going to hit the hole as fast as you did, Bucky. And I'm a bigger guy at 222, and I'm a tick faster than you. And I should be more productive. So that's what competition's all about. It's about making the guy that's ahead of you sometimes better. And McMillan's doing that with Trey Palmer. And I think Bucky Irving is going to do that with Rashad White. Rashad's still going to be number one. I think he could have a 1,000-yard season this year, no problem. But when Bucky Irving is in the game, you're not going to have the drop off either from Rashad White to Chase Edmonds.
And it's a different feel for the defenders too, to see, you got to find that little guy coming through. And once he's through, he's gone. I'll throw out a name, because when I was watching McMillan run routes, I was like, and he reminded me of somebody that very few will know. It's a Pro Bowl wide receiver back from the 70s and 80s, guy by the name of Paul Warfield.
Oh yeah,
who played for the Dolphins. Yep. He was the smoothest route runner you would ever see. It doesn't even look like he's going fast.
He just glide across the field.
They just glide.
Almost like he's like on some invisible, like, at the airports, they got those little those little like moving walkways, the moving walkways, right? Yeah. It's like he was just on one of those invisible people movers out there on the field. Yeah, that's a great comparison. It really is.
That's where you walk up on somebody and you're like,
Paul Wellfield.
Number 42. Hey, Bob Greasy looked good.
Yeah,
that's how good he was.
Yep.
All right, good stuff there from the JP Peterson show, which once again I produce on Wednesdays. We had Scott Reynolds on, so lots of great questions. I know we got a couple months ago until football starts, but I'm going to definitely give you all the Bucs coverage we can give you. Let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where you calling from? You're on the Evolution.
Eric from Lakeland, Florida. What's going on, Peter? Big win tonight.
Yeah, big win tonight by the Rays. 3 in a row. You got to play that Rays horn. There we go. And, the hitting is starting to come together, if you will. I get it. It's the Marlins, but you finally get out with the lead here. 15 consecutive games. You're down.
Yep.
In this game, you get up 3-0. And then after that, it's academic, right?
Yeah.
So what else, Eric?
Go Bucs.
Go Bucs. So what did you think of all those that interview there with Scott Reynolds? He talked about Chris Godwin, Tristan Wirfs, the rookie buzz right there with McMillan, and of course Bucky Irving. I mean, yeah. What do you think, bud? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah.
You sound excited.
I'm a little tired. We can. I think this might be one of the best draft classes that Lias had. Otherwise than Winfield and Wirfs. But I mean, we got Grant Barton. You got a Pro Bowl center. You got the safety from Georgia. I think he can be
Tyke Smith. Yeah, Tyke Smith. Lots of absolutely. Braswell, Chris Braswell in the second round from Alabama. McMillan from Washington. Might be a really good Culp from Washington, another tight end.
7th round.
Yeah. So definitely bears watching this year to see what this rookie class does, especially with the rookie class last year that Jason Lyden and the organization had. So
one off topic.
Sure.
What do you think about the I can't, if I can pronounce his name. So Capato Marcano betting.
Harry the Greek, he kind of talked about this, foreshadowing that this would happen once professional sports in general, not just football, baseball, basketball, hockey, would get into bed with gambling. You're going to have these type of cases, and it's disappointing. But really, at the end of the day, is it worth it for that baseball player to jeopardize his whole career for some extra money? No.
Yeah.
Am I surprised by it? No, because it's what the Greek said was going to happen eventually, and you're going to have more and more of this, which is not good. It's not good for professional sports. I get it. A lot of people have embraced gambling, and DraftKings and fantasy football has always been embraced, and there's always been, some type of aspect when it comes to gambling and sports, but now it's even more relevant. It's even more prevalent, if you will. And I would expect, more of this stuff to kind of happen. And it's kind of scary because you don't know what's fixed and what's not. You would hope that not everybody's on the take at this point, but who knows at the end of the day, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's not worth it. But
it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. It's just not.
One more. Any chance of seeing Junior Caminero before the All-Star break? I know he's hurt. He's going to be out until Junior Caminero.
I think they're going to take their time, Eric. It's a great question. There was a possibility of that.
He's only 20 years old.
Well, he's 20 years old, and on top of it, you know how the Rays baby their prospects, and then on top of it, time of service. That's important to them. And, of course, a young prospect coming off, an injury like that, you don't want to take any chances. So before the All-Star break, no, maybe after. And he was learning how to play second base. I mean, I think it comes down to Brandon Lau. Brandon Lau continues to hit the way we know he can hit. Then is there a need for a Junior Caminero unless you have an injury, knock on wood, which you've had this year over and over again? If you do anything, if he comes up, he'll probably come up during the September call-ups, especially if this team is in contention. He got a little bit of a taste.
I mean,
right.
I don't like the Yankees, but I've been a Yankees fan the last couple of nights. So, because they're facing the Twins. So,
well, they've dominated the Twins, my friend. You look at their record, like the Rays have dominated the Marlins. By the way, 23-3 over the Marlins. Pretty impressive.
Yep. I think they play again tomorrow, or
who? The Marlins and the Rays?
No, Twins and the Yankees.
Yeah. Well, it could be another loss there for the Twins, as once again the Yankees have dominated them.
Oh, okay.
And yes,
okay,
13. What is it? 13 in a row. Well, no, excuse me. 7th straight win over. Let's see. Yankees win 7 straight, so they've won 7 in a row, and the White Sox drop 13 in a row as they lose to the Cubs 7-6 in the crosstown rivalry, which has been pretty good, pretty entertaining. But both Chicago baseball teams not very good right now. Of course, the Cubs a lot better than the White Sox, as they are losers of 13 in a row here. So, what else, Eric?
I'm hoping we have an off day tomorrow. Would you be okay with the split against the Orioles, 2-2?
I mean, I would expect a split. I would like to see them take 3 out of 4. Hell, I like to see them sweep. But if you get 3 out of 4, I think you'll be happy with that. 2 out of 2, I want to see more improvement. So to answer your question, I'm not really satisfied with a split. I want to see them take that series. They need to take that series. I'm tired of hearing Rays fans say all this team does is beat, the little sisters of the poor, like the Marlins lately and the A's. I want to see them beat a good team. I want to see them put together some wins here before the All-Star break, so that whole level of conversation is maybe the Rays will make a move at the deadline instead of be sellers. Maybe they'll be buyers. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, I think 89, 90. I mean, 90 gets a wild card.
Yeah,
there is 3 wild cards, so
sure.
But it's the best. But the third wild card will have to face the number 1 seed.
Well,
so that's the best.
That would be either the Yankees, right? That would be the Yankees.
Yeah,
at this point.
if they stay that way for we got another 100 games.
They played the
110
Yankees
games.
this year. They played the Yankees tough. They played the Baltimore Orioles. I get it. There's a lot of baseball in front of you, so you don't know if the Yankees are going to win out, but they've definitely been the story of the young baseball season, along with the Philadelphia Phillies over on the National League side, who have been very good this year. So we'll see how it all plays out, but it is still a long season, my friend, and still the Rays can put this together. They got to get healthy. They got to hit those crucial situations. They got to be better defensively.
Fairbanks looks like himself.
How good was that last night? Right, you come into that situation where
I almost had a heart attack. I'm like, please, I don't care if we win by 1 run, just end like strike out, and then ground out. I'm like, and then Maton's been pitching better. I think his ERA was like an 8. It's down to like a 4. Or something like that.
You don't get a guy in free agency and pay big money for the Rays for a guy to have a 4 ERA. So he's got to be a lot better. But he made a mess of things last night, and Pete is able to come in there, and get things done. Slam the door.
He's not gonna throw 98. So if it's down the middle, they're gonna crush it.
Well, of course, and if he's got breaking balls and they're not breaking and there's no movement on it, and they come out there flat and it's like a beach ball, they're gonna hit it. So yeah,
or a golf ball.
Well, golf ball, yes, exactly.
Yes. One more thing, hey, I just want to give a huge shout out to Peter Blake, Sports Web, best sports talk radio in the Tampa Bay area. I don't care what anyone else says. Shout out to Peter, man.
Hey, man, I appreciate that. And now that that debate is over with, because you were not talking about Tampa Bay Ray, Couple Ray. You were talking about the evolution of sports talk television.
No, Ray's awesome. No, Ray's a good guy.
Love Ray. We got to get you some new headphones or something. I can't stand that damn sound. It's too loud out there. We're going to get you a mic or something. Soundboard.
Me?
Get it? No, not you. Him. He was out there tonight in the bar, and I got to get him a soundboard.
Ferg's?
Yeah, but no, he's not at Ferg's because he's usually out there. He was out at $5 Drinkery, which is a great establishment out there, but you could hear everything. The mic was too loud, so we got to figure this out. We'll figure it out here.
I love Ferg's. I love Ferg's.
I know you do. We have to all meet up sometime at Ferg's and have a sports web meetup with all the web heads like yourself. All right.
All right, and I'll buy you guys drinks too, even though I don't drink.
Sounds good. I don't drink either. Just buy me some chicken wings. Just buy me chicken wings, chicken wings. All right. That's the key to my heart. All right, man. Appreciate you. Great stuff there.
Oh, yeah.
Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Nearly at 3 hours. What a great show. Great debate tonight, as it'll be thrown out there again. Does Tom Brady deserve to be in the Ring of Honor? Leo says no. Harry doesn't think so, although he was kind of convinced at the end. I think he was just wanting to get away from that debate because I was so passionate about it. And I will just say this to Bucs fans. If you don't think that Tom Brady deserves it, again, the first team in NFL history to win a Super Bowl in their home stadium. It can never be done again. They were the first. Well, it could be. It could be. The Rams did it, right? Yeah. But the Bucs were the first. And who made more of a big impact? Who made the most major impact on this team besides Tom Brady? I get it. A lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth with that last year. Understand it. Divorce, father time. Didn't seem like he cared. Didn't want to be here. I get all that. But you cannot underscore the significance of Tom Brady to this organization, which is why I say he definitely belongs in the Ring of Honor. What do you say, Bucs fans? Thanks a lot to all the guests tonight. The legend himself, even though we had some tech issues, it's okay. We worked through it. That's what legends do. Leo Haggerty, of course, Harry the Greek, professional handicapper extraordinaire. Tampa Bay Ray Kennedy, best of the Bay. We got to get you a soundboard, my friend. And, of course, the body Evan L. Bushman of the Rays Rewind podcast, and Ralph Williams for Turnbuckle Talk. Guys, like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook. Facebook stars are out there. If you like the content, give to the content. YouTube super chats are out there. So once again, like and subscribe to the Sports Web. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake, and do 3 things here on a happy
Hump Day
edition. You know them, you love them, you got to have them live on TikTok, Instagram Live, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all around the world, internationally. Bring your passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the sports web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the evolution of Sports Talk Television. Have a great night. Put this to bed here. It's going to be a real boxing match. It's not some wrestling. It's not some joke of, it may be an exhibition, but it's a real boxing match, correct?
Correct. Let me help the fans understand something.
Sure.
No matter what we do, we have to, no matter how many fights you see on TV, they have to be okayed and accepted by the commission. So we can say we can do anything we want to do. If the commission doesn't okay it, then it doesn't give us opportunity for it to happen. Once the commission okayed it for it to be a fight that had a quote unquote as an exhibition, Mike or Jake didn't say they wanted to be exhibition. They were trying to, protect, the situation. Anything happens, then whose shoulder does it fall on? Theirs. But then Mike said he wanted it to be a real fight. They were able to make it a real fight. And so now that's where it's at. No one went in there and said they didn't want it to be real one, but now they are. And so the fans are going to get what they want. Now it's on the record. So Mike loses. He gets another notch beside his name, and Jake gets another notch in winning on his. So it's a real fight. So for everyone who thought it was something different, no, those guys are going to be trying to knock each other out in it.